just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, back and better than ever. Cough-a-thon Day 2.
Yeah.
Right here on the Showgram. As always, we are presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Don't forget, as usual, The Advocates are working with the Murray Children's Pantry to end childhood hunger. Yesterday, we picked up almost $200. We're trying to raise another $1,000 this week. So we need about $800 the rest of the week. Thursday, if I'm still alive and my lungs haven't fallen out my keister, we'll do a full day of Give to the Advocates. 1 in 6 kids tonight are unsure of where their next meal is coming from. We can do something about that. Get on Venmo, make a donation, Advocates donations. Put it in the comment section. The Monty Show kids. Nico's an idiot. Okay, that would probably win this contest. Okay, talk to Jake about how when you have a bag of cough drops on the counter, like seeing like such
as in like,
we have this bag of cough drops, right? Jake decides it's better to put his empty wrappers in with the new cough drops instead of using, I don't know, a garbage can like the rest of us civilized human beings.
mm-hmm.
But it's fine. Do you have like sick guy etiquette? Do you like leave your tissues all over the place? And
No, I mean, I typically would just throw those in a trash can, but we were eating them, and then, I didn't have a trash can to throw them into during the show, so.
Make the excuses. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get to the story I'm already sick and tired of talking about? And that is the Nico Iamaleava,
your mama
and stuff.
And llama.
Nico Iamaleava. I'll just go with the same headline as yesterday, mainly because I'm lazy. Set the college football world on fire. It's all anybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And as I suggested yesterday, here on the I Told You So Tuesday Monty Show program, this is his dad. Are the drops not working?
They're not working.
Well, you got to fix it. You got to do what you got to do to fix it, yo. But his dad, as it turns out, is the one. Good night. His dad is the one making the issue here out of nothing.
Which was your point yesterday.
Which is exactly what I told you it was yesterday.
Right. You were saying that it was his people, not him.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Iamaleava is getting bad advice. And I think it's as simple as that. His dad is on the record now saying that, hey, you all in the media.
Y'all
in the media need to understand this is a business first. Excuse me, sir, do you think we don't understand that? Do you think we don't understand that? We are allowed to seek opportunities elsewhere. Oh, sure you are. You're allowed to go seek opportunities elsewhere. You can shake your moneymaker all you want.
Right.
But if nobody's throwing dollar bills up onto the stage while you're on that pole, you're not getting paid.
Right.
You are, and I hope if you are a young person or if you have kids, you will teach them this lesson. You are worth what somebody is willing to pay you. And The problem for Nico is it does not appear anybody is willing to pay him. Now, his dad also says he has offers of $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Then why haven't we heard about those? Why is nobody breaking the story that, Vita Vegemite University has offered Nico, leave it to your mama, $4 million a year in NIL money?
Right.
How come we haven't heard that story?
Mm-hmm.
Because it probably does not exist.
Yeah.
I think there's only two spots. And now, after some shocking news today in Manhattan, Kansas, I think there's only one spot because, hello?
Wait, hold on. I know that headline there doesn't say Avery Johnson,
The basketball
entered.
coach.
Oh, the basketball coach, not the quarterback.
Oh, this is the quarter. No, the quarterback. Wait a minute. Noel Monties.
Monty.
Noel Monties. Now, the quarterback at K-State's the greatest quarterback that anybody in Manhattan, Kansas has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they ran Will Howard out of town on a rail.
Because he was terrible.
They dropped him off at Championship U at Ohio State.
Right.
So let me get this right. Not only was Will Howard not the problem at K-State, not only was Avery Johnson not the solution at K-State, Will Howard left K-State. And did you say he won a national championship? And Avery Johnson is now transferring to Tennessee?
Wow.
Very interesting, K-State fan. Now what? Now what? If you're Nico, you're in real trouble. That's what.
Mm-hmm.
Because Avery Johnson's going to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And if you read the tea leaves, and maybe it's not even really the tea leaves, it is the Twitter account of Avery Johnson. Notice who follows him.
Oh.
It's the head coach at Tennessee, Josh Heupel.
The only 10 I see.
And turns out, and I know that Avery Johnson's a follower of Christ, but it turns out the average-ass quarterback's going to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in a situation where, and listen, Nico's dad, I understand it's a business. Well, the business is that Tennessee's going to have Avery Johnson and you're not going to have Tennessee. Are you really telling me that Tulane's going to pay him $4 million a year?
No. And I think it's rich that again, we have a situation where this isn't the kid, this isn't the player, this is his dad getting in the way and saying, hey, like, we deserve more. Like, he's got offers for more, and somehow, Tennessee's not good enough. And I think the problem with it is that it just makes Nico look like a fool. With all due respect, it makes Nico look like
makes him look like a fool.
Yeah, and there's no reason.
That's exactly
for that.
right.
And by the way, excuse me. By the way, Nico is a talented kid. I mean, I think we would all agree that this kid's got a future in football. I don't know to what extent, whether it's the NFL or, just how good he could become. But I think we would all agree that he has talent. So the idea that he's found himself in the middle of this thing because his dad's out here talking about how he's got $4 million offers falling off trees, apparently, from Tulane. So wait, you're going from Tennessee and the SEC to Tulane? What are you doing?
Brutal.
What the hell are you doing?
It's brutal.
Like,
there's no justifying this.
Come on, dude.
And I think you're right. The biggest problem here is Nico Iamaleava is taking the lion's share of the beating here.
Yeah.
And I'll say what I said yesterday. The people around him are crippling this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this is a lesson learned because you're not that good. He's not a top 10 quarterback. In the comments section yesterday, I love all of the Nico. And they're all like, he's a top 10 quarterback in college football. Stop. because he's not even going to be a P4 quarterback.
Right.
Right. I just don't know. I don't know where you go here. If you're Nico, I don't know where you go here. And then, because how can you have football without Paul Finebaum? Paul Finebaum absolutely, I'm not going to say crushed is strong.
Right.
He laid into Nico today.
I would stay away from him. Buyer beware of this guy, and it's not even Nico. It's the whole apparatus. I mean, you're not dealing. Something tells me Nico is not personally in the middle of these negotiations. Team Nico is, and I mean there is a toxic feeling about this player. He can impact a football team, but you also have to decide what is the cost. And everywhere he goes, there's going to be this halo around him that says he held out, he asked for money, he's a problem child, stay away.
And then, Paul,
well, nice editing job there, Jake. On the jocks right there is Paul Finebaum. I mean, is he right? Is he right? I don't think there's any. You don't have to like Finebaum, but he is right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the problem is he is right. I think that, and we spoke about this yesterday. Like, if you're gonna attempt to bring Nico in, you're certainly having to evaluate, well, how much of a reputation is our program? How much of a hit to our reputation is the program going to take? Because ultimately, we're trying to bring a kid in who has issues. Like, let's be honest. Like, his dad's a problem. And this kind of harkens back to, all the conversations and the hate the Ball family got. I mean, let's remember, just how much of an influence LeVar Ball was for those guys. And, they've eventually found their way to the NBA and made the money. And, LaMelo's doing what he's doing. But how many stories like that are there really? I mean, they're really the only ones where their dad was like right in the middle of it and they made it.
And he ruined it. In my opinion, LeVar ruined his kids' careers. I think there's no doubt Lonzo, the knee injury, Lonzo believes it was from the shoes.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the entitlement that LaMelo is playing with. Cleangelo or Clamato or whatever the hell his name is.
Sunglasses out of the bodega.
LiAngelo's not even in professional basketball anymore.
Yeah, he's making music now.
I'm telling you, we as parents go out of our way to wreck our kids, and I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I think it's very difficult to look at Nico. This kid's a victim. I know that's not popular. This kid is a victim. This is not a 35-year-old man. This is a very young man who is listening to his dad. And his dad is giving him, in my opinion, terrible advice.
Yeah.
$4 million a year ain't out there. And if it is, I want to meet the fool.
And by the way, what kind of message does it send that the millions of dollars you are making now is not good enough? I mean, you're playing college football for ridiculous money already. I get that you can never make enough, but at some point you have to have some perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're a 20-year-old kid and your dad tells you you're worth $4 million and we're going to go look elsewhere, and then you call Dan Lanning and Dan Lanning calls Josh Heupel at Tennessee, that's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't believe that Nico Iamaleava said, I'm not going to practice anymore. I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to text anybody. I'm going to be a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. I think that's called daddy ball.
Right.
And the Iamaleavas are making bad decisions that are ruining this kid's future. Plain and simple. You have hurt his value to the NFL. You have hurt his value in college football. I think it's that simple. So let's get your thoughts in here. I'm tired of this story already. I hate NIL. I hate the transfer portal. I hate the fact that the lawsuit has not been settled yet. So here we are in the middle of a shit show that is destroying a kid's life.
Yes.
And I think it's largely not his doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys blame Nico for this? Or do you blame his dad? Where do you come down on?
I mean, I think his dad wears most of it, but I have to say, the player ultimately has to go to Josh Heupel and ultimately has to say, yeah, Dad, I'm okay with that. Like if your dad says, hey, like there are other offers out there, for more money, let's go make all that money. It's still up to Nico to decide whether he wants to go that route or whether he wants to go against the grain with his dad and stay at Tennessee. And it ultimately, the thing that I don't like from Nico's dad is it puts him in the middle and forces him to make a decision that maybe he's not looking to make. I mean, maybe, if Nico's dad was never in the picture, Nico would be cruising along at Tennessee and would be a 3-year starter and be fast tracked to the NFL out of the SEC.
I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand why you have to be the kid that's right in the middle of it. I mean, I think about other quarterbacks who are now in the league who, switched programs and, before NIL really became a thing. And, I think about Joe Burrow's path. Joe Burrow wasn't getting reps at Ohio State. So what did he do? Well, he decided to bet on himself and leave and go to LSU, and it all worked out. And that type of situation is what sports is supposed to be about. Hey, I'm in a program where the quarterback room is just too deep. I'm not going to get, the type of exposure and the reps that I need to develop and get to where I want to go. So let me bet on myself, use a one-time transfer exemption, and go to another situation. This, on the other hand, is just money grabbing, and where does it leave us? And that's the problem I have. I feel like on so many levels, it doesn't set the right example for Nico as a kid, frankly, as a young man. At this point, you're basically sending the message to him as his dad that money is all that matters, when in the reality, money is not all that matters when it comes to college football right now. In fact, I would tell you there is almost as much currency in being loyal and not being about the money per se. Like, make your money, yes, but don't be about the money. That can't be the first priority.
Well, I also was flipping around the social medias this morning, and I thought Ryan Leaf made a really good point. Hey, did you guys know that Tennessee doesn't have a general manager for their football team? Everybody of note now, pretty much, has a general manager in their program. I think, and what do? They handle the money.
Mm-hmm.
They handle the kids, the negotiations, the agents, the Nico's dads. The GM handles that. Tennessee doesn't have a GM, and I think you got to go and get one.
Yeah.
I think that much is very clear. The Buffalo Hunter. That's why we have Finebaum.
Okay, let's test it now. I think we may have it. No, we don't have it.
We don't have it.
Okay, all right.
We don't.
All right, I'm an idiot.
Should I unplug and replug?
Hang on. Let me try one more thing. Hang on. Let's see.
Try one more thing.
Try one more thing here.
How did you not test this before the show?
Because it's never usually a problem.
It's embarrassing, Nico.
It's never usually a problem.
Nico.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Just try any drop. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to
your settings.
Yeah, it's just not doing it.
Let's see if I could. That's
Hey, Monty.
Good. Hey, Monty. All right, there.
I'll restart the drop machine. Try one more time.
That's why we have Finebaum. Thank you, Lane Train. Old Greg, hello. Welcome to the baked portion of the Marty Showgrum. It usually comes with 2 shakes. Bro, Sunday, my wife drugged me out of the house by my earlobe and took me to a place down the street from the crib. I had the best marshmallow strawberry milkshake that I've had ever, and it was amazing. Lobes fan Gabe, hit the freaking like button, you casual. Yeah, please. Hit the like button. There are 700 people watching the show right now. Hello to everybody on X. Had our biggest week ever on X this week already. Come on, get on board. Follow me on X, The Monty Show, and then come on over to YouTube. Search The Monty Show on Google. YouTube will be the first thing to come up. Subscribe to the show. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. There he is, Mountain Mama. I know it is relevant news, but I got to say meh over Nico. Tennessee, and especially Finebaum, and his self-righteous attitude. Is there anybody who likes Paul Finebaum?
No.
I mean, he's got a good audience, so somebody must like him.
No.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. I showed up today. Okay.
Nice job, Finebaum.
Thank you.
That's why we have
Thank you.
Finebaum.
See,
Thank you,
I
Coach.
entered the launch codes.
What'd you have to do?
Played. So usually when you 2 seconds, you plug the computer into the sound mixer thing over here, and usually the computer just goes right along with it.
Does what computing
what it should do.
usually does.
And today it didn't do what it usually does. So we had to change all these settings and you know play with stuff. So
which
anyway,
is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah. So good. Glad to have you back, Jake. Thanks for showing up. Nico took some bad advice, Jay Chapman says. I agree. TJ Beck. Hello, TJ. Good to see you. Don't Nico it unless you have somewhere to put it. So you're saying he's transferring to Penn State. Is that wouldn't okay? Mr. Preston, hello. That awkward guy. Damn, I haven't seen the show in a minute. Glad to have caught this one. Good to see you. Dude? Good to see you. Is the college football version of Kawhi and his uncle? Could be. Man, Kawhi and his uncle. That hasn't been a thing in a minute. Look at that. Loner phone showed up today. Players need to be treated like adults because they sued, so could be treated like working adults. Well, I don't think that's the case. Why did players sue? Well, because the adults weren't sharing the money that the players were making for them.
Yeah.
So it's not like the players just got all uppity one day and were like, suck it, we're suing.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a decades, over a century long in the making, these lawsuits. So I wouldn't exactly go that far. But you know, it is what it is. She's always going down. Bada bing.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, loner phone. Backstage parents have always created chaos. At some point, strong people find a way to navigate any process, take sports out of the equation.
Yeah, but I mean, what obligation does Nico have to his family, right? I mean, you have to understand that you know you're clearly making the most money. I would guess. I'm speculating. I don't know this to be fact, but I'm guessing Nico at this stage in his life has made more money, you know, than his family ever did.
Correct.
And you know, so you have this, and Nico's not the only one that's been in this position. A lot of guys in the league, you know, in the NFL and in college football are. We hear the story of, hey, got my rookie deal, bought my mom a house, got her out of the bad situation, whatever. You know, I mean, that's, you know, we hear that all the time. So I think Nico's got an obligation to his family on some level, but you know, I think that these kind of situations, like if this goes sideways for Nico, and let's say that, you know, he doesn't land in a good spot and then struggles to get into the NFL and have a career, he's going to remember this couple of months stretch here forever.
I would agree. And
that's the type of thing that, you know, kids should never have to go through. Nico should never have to be considering, hey, well, should I listen to my dad or should I go with my instinct? Because that's my main question. I don't love what his dad's doing here. I'm with you guys on that.
You never listen to your dad, though.
That's true, but I'm also not fighting with my dad over $4 million offers. So it's kind of a different situation.
Depends on how much that dog is going to cost you at the end of the day. But my point is, I agree with you.
So my question for Nico is, are you in agreement with your dad's strategy here? Or are you in a position where you feel like you're in between and you regret rocking the boat?
Because remember Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
He, by some reports, grew up in a very abusive home. Didn't have a say where he wanted to go play football. He allegedly wanted to play at USC. He wound up at Alabama. Right? So I just think that you can't make broad-reaching, I don't know, indictments of a kid. He's, what is he, 20 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how difficult it is to say no to your dad when $4 million is allegedly on the line? That's tough to do. It's very tough to do. Brandon Butler, hello. I kind of blame the current system. If there are no rules, people are going to try whatever they can to get over. I agree. End of the day, the kid is 20. His dad should know better. He should know better.
Facts.
But it's our job as parents to give our kids sage, good advice. It's something that when Jake was a kid, I took very seriously. And I think when you look at the Iamaleava story, it ultimately, because I think now he can't go back to Tennessee. It does not appear he can go to North Carolina.
Tulane allegedly is out, according to some reporting.
I don't know where he's going to go. K-State?
Yeah.
EMAW? Are they paying him $4 million? Come on. And then you have Marcus Freeman. You know, the vaunted counter to 10, Marcus Freeman. Talking about Nico, but not talking about Nico.
The reality is our players are getting compensated, deserve to get compensated. You know, what you don't want to do is what I'm sure you've heard many coaches say is you don't want players to make a temporary decision based off a temporary situation that's going to affect them long term, right? And that transactional decisions aren't always the best ones for your future. And you know, I think every situation's different. Every football program's different. But at the end of the day, you want to do what's right for college football, between what's right for college football, also what's right for our players. But you don't want this public disagreement to really tarnish what's so good about our profession and our sport.
Marcus Freeman from On3. I agree 100%. This is a short-term decision that's probably going to shape the rest of your life, and you didn't even know it when it was happening. You're Nico. You're a quarterback. I'm awesome. You know, everybody's going to want to have me on their team. Yeah, it turns out that's not the case. Is he going to UCLA? Is there a dark horse out there who's just waiting to see how things work out?
I mean, there's always somebody out there who is ready to sign you for a certain number. And I think in the bigger picture, where Nico goes and for how much is going to shock college football in a couple of different ways. If Nico goes to, a power conference, the other three, whichever it might be, and signs for $1 million, then people are going to say, well, actually, schools are in control and you look like an idiot because you allegedly, according to most NIL valuation sites, were somewhere between 2.5 and 3. That's what his total NIL, valuation by most people's accounts is. And now you're going to drop that down to 1 if he were to do that. Now, if he signs for 4 at a tiny little school at the G5 level, let's say, that's a bad look as well. So my question is, how does this work out for Nico?
It doesn't.
That's the problem, is that, okay, on one hand, you get the money, but then you're playing for a tiny school. And then on the other hand, you don't get the money and you're playing for a big school. And if I'm Nico, I'm sitting here, wondering, hey, did I get bad advice? Yes, clearly.
Duh.
Obviously. And 2, if you feel like you got bad advice, what's your next best step? Because I agree, it would be awfully difficult. It'd be awfully difficult to go along with this only to part ways with your dad in terms of negotiations. So I just don't see how this works out well for this kid. I don't know how the maths here, as they say.
I don't know either. I think I just look at the schools who are out.
Yeah.
It appears Tennessee's out. It looks like North Carolina's out.
Yeah, we're not making any changes.
It looks like USC certainly is out. It looks like Notre Dame certainly is out. And I think USC and Notre Dame were probably the 2 best fits. Hell, Iamaleava is from Long Beach. He originally, it said, wanted to go there, but they have Jaden Maiava now, who's a hell of a quarterback on his own. And USC apparently wants nothing to do with this scandal.
And Colorado said we're good.
Colorado's out. Notre Dame is out. Oregon's out. I think it's Tulane or UCLA, and I don't think either one of them is paying him anywhere near. I don't think either one of them is going to pay him $2 million. I really don't. I think this was a horrendous decision. Horrendous decision.
It's very much a pyramid-shaped proposition for him, right? The lower you go in money, the more opportunity you get. The higher you go in money, the less opportunity you have.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be?
I agree. Delaric, hello. Nico's best landing spot at this time is probably USC.
But I don't think he's taking that risk. I don't think that
Lincoln
Riley
cannot
is
take that risk.
Going to take that risk. There's no way. How are you going to do that? Like, that doesn't work.
I don't think I would be stunned. I would be stunned. I was chatting with a USC alum that I know, who they're all in on Jaden Iamaleava. I just don't see that happening. I think Notre Dame's more likely than USC, and Notre Dame's not likely at all. And we need a quarterback. And I don't think it's happening. The awkward guy. If Nico goes to the NFL, don't you think the teams will think he will sit out the first opportunity now? I don't. I think when and if he goes to the NFL, he's going to have to talk about this in meetings.
I still think it's an if. I don't think he's just a no doubt about it, bona fide top 10 pick.
I don't think he is. I don't think you're drafting him. If he goes somewhere and wrecks, forget it. He'll be drafted. If he dominates, if he shuts his mouth, cashes his checks, and just shows up for work, he'll dominate. But now the biggest issue is his dad. His dad's the problem.
Yeah.
Because when you're out there claiming to have a $4 million offer from multiple schools, you better have a $4 million offer from
That's bullshit.
Because I don't think he does.
No.
I don't believe it.
And I don't think most people think he does.
I don't. I truly do not. Future Hoosier. Okay. Could be interesting. All Indiana does is win. Just Google him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got no class.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I win. Google me.
Thank you. That's
Sorry. My bad. Sorry.
Originally wanted.
Sorry.
Lama Lever for Tulane. Could you imagine going from Tennessee to Tulane?
Nah.
Going from a P4 in the SEC to the AAC. That's a steep fall off. That is a steep fall off, in my opinion. I hate it. I hate it for the kid. I really do.
It's rough.
How about Oak State as a spot? Well, I mean, you ask the Oak State people, they've got, God Almighty as their starting quarterback who's never played a game. But by the way, he's not going to Oak State.
Don't have no general manager.
He's not going to Oak State.
It's Mike Gundy's job.
You're telling me they have $4 million to pay him when they just cut Gundy's salary? Somehow I don't see that. Iamaleava's dad must be using the pack book of back of the envelope calculations. Can't say I disagree.
Back of the envelope calculations.
Can't say I disagree with it.
Yeah. It's disappointing, dude. It's upsetting, disappointing. It's, it's just everything that it shouldn't be. And I actually, for once agree with what Marcus Freeman said. I think that, the whole concept of, making a transactional decision, a short term, I'm going to chase this now and not care about the future is, at that stage in your career is really foolish, because ultimately what is college football? Well, college football is just the proving ground for the NFL. And if you go out and prove it, you're going to get paid, right? Like just what you said, like if he goes out and dominates, he'll get drafted. So I just, my biggest issue with the whole thing is that, his dad is just sending all the wrong messages, sending all the wrong signs, giving him the poorest example possible of, hey, we're just going to chase money. And that's like what he said in his comments, right? Like, y'all need to understand this is a business first.
Why would you say that?
Like, actually, dude, it's not a business first. Actually, it's this kid's career first, and then it's the money. Like, look at that. Y'all in the media need to understand that this is a business first, and we allowed to, seek opportunities. Like, come on, dude. We get it, dude. You're looking to make as much money as you can.
Pick up the playbook and blame the media.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Y'all in the media. Because it's y'all in the media's fault.
Yeah.
That you're not a smart businessman. That you just said Tulane offered you $4 million.
You're an idiot, dude. Like you're not savvy in the PR world.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. TJ Beck, is losing Avery Johnson in the Big 12 a blow to the Big 12? I don't know. Let's see how they rebound. Avery Johnson, if you didn't hear, is in the portal, or will be. He has informed his coaches that as a follower of Christ, he is going to Tennessee.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
It still says K-State football in Wichita on his bio. But notice that Josh Heupel follows him and Joey Halsey. So
We built this program on NIL.
Heupel, Halsey, everybody else, Rocky Top following Avery Johnson. He's going to Tennessee. He wanted to go to Tennessee originally.
Name, image, and likeness.
But, you know, K-State is such a powerhouse of football that
how could he leave K-State to go to Tennessee?
I
who
can't
would do that?
Dude, this is so much. I don't take credit, I take pride.
Stay home.
Like the fact that K-State fans have been so angry on this show, telling us that we don't know football. Hey, bro, do you even watch football?
No, never.
And I don't have to watch football to know that Avery Johnson's an average-ass quarterback. Because he is, and he was. And he's the reason that they didn't do better last year. His shortcomings. He cannot throw the ball down the field with regularity. He cannot stand in the pocket and deliver the football in big moments. Is that what they're going to ask him to do at Tennessee? I don't know. Did Tennessee go out and say, hey, we have, the situation with Nico? We're desperate. Somebody call K-State. I'm sure that may have happened. But either way, this is what Tennessee needed. It's apparently what Avery Johnson wanted. And what's amazing is, where are the K-State fans now? Your saviors left. Where are you now? Where are all of you telling me that, oh, Monty, you don't know K-State football. Shut your mouth. Okay. Your average-ass quarterback who you ran Will Howard, you know, the national championship winning quarterback, Will Howard, you ran him out of town, straight into the arms of Chip Kelly and Ryan Day in a national championship, even though the trophy's now got a ding in it. Did you guys see the vice president drop?
Bro? How?
He dropped the trophy. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh. He dropped the trophy. Anyway, my point is, you ran Will Howard straight to the White House to get accolades. And now the guy you chose over Will Howard, now he chose somebody else over you. And it's a lesson in take your fanaticism out of it. Take your emotions out of it. If I can sit here and tell you Riley Leonard, God's quarterback, Riley Leonard.
God's quarterback.
Well, God's a Notre Dame fan.
God bless.
I mean, he goes to every game. Do you see him like he has the best seat in the house?
Name, image, and likeness.
Touchdown, Jesus. I just think it's amazing. I am, it's remarkable to me.
Yeah.
Vance had too much mascara on his hand. Stop. That was so bad, I thought it was a fake video.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not fake. This is real.
A deep fake AI.
This is the president and the vice president welcoming the Ohio State. You see Donnie Boy on the right holding a helmet, and there's JD Vance, the awkward stepbrother, dropping the trophy. That's so JD Vance, isn't it? That's just who homeboy is. And the trophy's got a ding in it now.
Dude is all thumbs.
The only loss Ohio State took this year was to JD Vance and the trophy.
Yeah.
So
come on, dude.
They lost they went to Autzen and lost, but and stuff.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing that this is where college football is now.
Yeah. I mean, is anyone really surprised? I mean, as a K-State fan, are you shocked that Avery Johnson left you for greener pastures? Because let's be real, right? Like when this inevitably gets announced and it becomes official, no one's going to be surprised. And there's going to be a hype video. And, we're going to get the Wichita and K-State fans, Wildcat fans, I love you. And, you're amazing, but peace out.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get all that. And what's K-State fans' reaction going to be? Well, what we'll miss you too. Next man up mentality, I guess. Is that what it is?
Good luck. Are you going to torch Avery Johnson the way you torched Will Howard?
Yeah, are you going to burn, Blondie's hair or Blondie's jersey in the streets? Is that what we're going to do? Like, that's what you did with Will Howard. You said that he was terrible and he sucked and he was the reason that you couldn't compete with Texas and you couldn't compete with Oklahoma State when they actually had a running back and actually won games. Like,
it's amazing to me.
Yeah. Like what? So I'm just curious, what's the reaction going to be when K-State fan who was so committed to this guy inevitably gets their heart ripped out and he leaves you? Like, because that's what college football is now.
I don't know. It sucks. I often say in life, I can't believe we screwed that up. College football was the surest thing not to get screwed up. It's college football. They're kids who are just here for an education and they happen to be good football players. Turns out that was never the case.
No.
How did we screw up college football? And we're going to do it again, what we love to do. We're going to vilify a 19, 20, 21-year-old.
That's what they do.
It's what we do. And I think it sucks. I think college football, this is what saps my passion for college football.
Yeah.
And I love it. I absolutely love it a little less than I used to. And every time one of these stories comes out, man, every time, every time a quarterback like Avery Johnson gets in the portal, it sucks. The eye patch. K-State fans are over a 365 having a meltdown. I'm sure they are. I think it's just really unfortunate that this is what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you hit your wagon to a guy and, you go that hard on him. Like, what did you expect? I mean, did you really expect that he was going to stay at K-State for 3 full seasons? Like, really? Like that wasn't ever going to be the game plan. I don't think. I mean, if you have aspirations to get to the league, like, at K-State, like with all due respect, I don't know that your chances are as good as if you can play at Tennessee or anywhere else in the SEC.
Yeah. Johnny Gonzalez. So to understand correctly, Avery will do just as much at Tennessee as he had at K-State. Pretty much. I don't know that there is much you can. What's the upside here? That's the thing that I don't understand. What's the upside for Tennessee? You pretty much got the same quarterback. They're the same guy.
Yeah, but the upside is you don't have to deal with Buddy's dad, and you don't have to pay Avery Johnson that much money.
And for Avery Johnson, it's obvious. He's going to the SEC. And again, if there was ever a separation of classes, look at Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
It's rough. Ultimately, this may be the biggest opportunity for this kid and his family to make money. Kids are trying to get as much bag as they can right now. Future's not guaranteed, but you got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
You got to do it the right way. I just am. Wow. Noel Ramirez, he should just go to UCF. Mackenzie Milton is there, and he could stick it to Josh Heupel by winning at a place Josh left for Tennessee. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a little deeper.
Noel, you're not wrong. Stick it to Josh Heupel. That's awesome. Yeah. Which would be better? Go to a G5 and dominate and get his team to the playoff, or a P4 and be above average?
I don't know. How much is he getting paid?
I mean, if you're the starting quarterback at Tennessee, you're getting a lot of look. I mean, that's why Nico Iamaleava is where he is, because he did well enough at Tennessee. Now, I don't happen to think that he is some special thing and, it's all amazing. I think he was an average-ass quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's at Tennessee and he got some run.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really interesting to see exactly how it plays, because I think the other thing that's very interesting is Avery Johnson. And I know that this is, again, probably not popular with our friends in the SEC. Avery, you're leaving a quarterback league, because the Big 12's got quarterbacks for days. I mean, this is a passing league. Who's going to be the best team in the Big 12 this year?
All right, Tech.
Well, Baron Morton.
Yeah.
BYU.
I mean, BYU.
Jake Retzloff.
Yeah.
You look at the quarterbacks in this league, and there's some dogs, dude. There are some dudes who can throw the ball.
Yeah.
No team likes losing a good player. Truth. I don't disagree with that. K-State needs to have a little perspective. At least they aren't Oregon State when 3/4 of a team bolted for a bigger league. Well,
yeah,
you're not wrong about that. Big Lubbock, hello. Baron Morton had 3,400 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. These are better numbers than Nico by far. I said this on the show yesterday. Nico Iamaleava is not some end of the world quarterback.
Yeah, I also think that, again, it's your level of competition, it's style of play, it's the offense you're trying to run. Like, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. I would much rather have, for sure, I'd much rather have Baron Morton, for sure. I think, you can fit him into a lot more offenses. But I think, whether it's Avery Johnson or Nico, you have guys who run first, then pass, and guys who pass first, then run. And the pass first guys typically can play in more systems. And I think that, for Avery Johnson, you're going to Tennessee because you want to get developed, right? Allegedly going to Tennessee. Obviously, it's not official yet, but looks that way. You're going to try to go to the SEC so you can develop, so that you can get to the league. Because Avery Johnson, I'm guessing, is not blind to the fact that he is not good enough throwing the football yet. So where do you go? Well, you're going to go to the SEC, the best conference in college football, to develop and to play in a bigger program, to play in bigger moments, to get better. And that's what it's all about, unless you're, Nico and your dad and all you care about is money.
Yeah, I think it's a real problem. And it's there's nobody here, at least I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody here who thinks this is a good thing for college football.
No, I don't think it's a good thing for college football, but I also think this plays right back into the unintended consequences conversation. I mean, this is right out of the Dark Knight, dude. You press people for a long time, you lean on them, you take advantage of them, and look what you've created. You've created a monster. You've created a situation, an environment where now it's not just about what the kid wants. Now you've got their parents getting involved, which is worse, in my opinion.
But isn't this also the haves and the have-nots?
Of course.
Say what you want to say. Nico Iamaleava was a starting quarterback in the SEC. He left that team, and they bounced back less than a day later with a starting quarterback from a smaller league in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And say what you want about Avery. You could have done a hell of a lot worse.
100%.
And I don't know that you could have done better, because Josh Heupel seems to do pretty well coaching up quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the talent is in there. I think it's up in there. And you got a long way to pull it up from to the arm and the brain.
Such as in, like,
Avery Johnson's a baller, but can he ever be a guy to stand in the pocket and throw the football? That's what we're going to have to find out.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to have to find out.
He's going to need to be if he wants to be successful in the SEC.
Yeah. What do you mean? Wasikowski get a timeout? I have no idea. Did he get? Did he
really already?
I don't know. I don't look at, so you guys, he got a message deleted. I don't know. I don't know what you said there, kid. Excuse me. I don't look at YouTube during the show. We use a streaming platform that aggregates our stream.
Yeah.
And sends it out. So the comments come in through there. So oftentimes I have to flip around to see it, but he'll be back. Which is fine. Houston Cougar, we come in Willie year 2. Do you guys have a quarterback? Is Connor Wegman your guy?
Connor.
Well, you're better off this year than you were last year because you had 37,000 quarterbacks on that roster. But I'm a big Willie Fritz believer.
Yeah. Well, and they improved a lot last year. I mean, not obviously you didn't win a ton of games.
4-8,
but again, it's your second season in the Big 12, right? Year 2. So year 3, hopefully you can get to 6-7 wins.
Yeah, you would hope so.
But again, the problem is that the league's going to be better. I would think that.
I think significantly better.
I would think that, Utah is going to bounce back. I would think that,
Did you guys hear the, excuse me, good Lord, I apologize.
It's terrible. It is terrible.
Did you guys hear the rumor that today, Utah is going to announce they're leaving for the Big Ten? I mean,
man, how did we not know that?
Last I checked, I don't see much out there.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I'm saying.
Can we get another Mark Harlan press conference to announce that? Or
it's so crazy. BYU Jake is going to K-State. Chaos ensues. Oh my God. If the BYU left BYU to go to K-State.
See, now this is another fascinating thing, right? We don't really hear about a lot of these issues. Like, obviously, BYU's had some issues that they've dealt with, some stuff, but we don't really hear about like big name quarterback leaving BYU. Like, you'll hear about like big time defender decided to go somewhere else or whatever, but quarterbacks don't typically leave BYU.
No, they don't. No, because BYU puts quarterbacks in the NFL. So, not that we think they're good quarterbacks, because how many times did I tell you Jaron's not going to make it? The sex machine wasn't going to make it.
The coup hunter.
Yes.
Is Zach Wilson going to make it?
No.
I mean, he did apparently smash with his mom's best friend, but
yeah.
Do you think he makes it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be one of those guys that is a backup for quite some time, 6, 7, 8 seasons.
Is he better than we saw with the Jets?
I do think he's better than what we saw with the Jets. I think that Zach.
But Aaron Rodgers is not.
What? Better?
By your logic.
Well, no, because I have 15 years of Aaron Rodgers. Right? I mean, I don't know if
I know he had a terrible year last year.
Listen, I allegedly
sucks.
Allegedly, the pitch to the Vikings from Aaron Rodgers was, hey, I'll come in on a 1-year deal. We'll go and chase a championship, and I will be open to working with JJ. And allegedly, the reason the Vikings said, no, we're good, is because they believe in JJ and they want to give JJ a full, what is being described, runway to take a run at being a starter in the NFL, allegedly. So
stop it.
So, again, will Zach Wilson make it? I mean, what would you define as making it? Is he going to be in the league 10 years?
Will he be a competent starting quarterback in the NFL?
No, I don't think he can.
What he's drafted number 2?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he's a bust for sure. I think he is a career, journeyman style guy. I think a Baker Mayfield comp would be reasonable.
Ooh.
Well,
Baker's, but wait. I'm going to give you credit because you're probably on some cocaine to make yourself feel better.
No doubt.
Baker Mayfield is a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not smashing his mom's friend. I mean, he would if he could, but he can't, so he didn't. Baker Mayfield is he's a franchise level quarterback.
Yeah. He's got the contract. So yeah, I guess so.
He's got the wins in Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Zachy Poo, what did he do? What's he done in Denver?
Nothing. He's been a backup. He hasn't done anything.
And you're the guy that's in love with Baker.
Yeah, I love Baker. I do. I'm a big fan.
Is he ever better than Baker Mayfield?
No.
Okay.
No.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Okay, Andy Dalton? Is that a better journeyman? I mean...
Do you remember that Andy Dalton was a Cincinnati Bengal?
Okay, Chase Daniels.
You're pissing me
Chase
off.
Daniels. How about that? How about that?
Okay, Andy Dalton is a terrible comp. Chase Daniel is a better comparison.
Okay.
Because I would remind you, 13-year-olds who have no idea that sex was had before you were born.
What?
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie.
Hello. I would remind you that Mr. Homie Slice, Andy Dalton, was actually a really good quarterback. And not anymore, but he had several 4,000-yard passing seasons in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
A 33 touchdown year. He also threw 20 picks that year. But the guy's thrown for 40,000 yards in his career.
Yeah. Red Rocket, dude.
Don't say it like you knew it. Shut up. Like then you're going to roll. Oh, well, yeah, that's why I brought him up. Listen, Firecrotch, he was good in the pocket. Why? Oh, Andy Dalton sucks. Yeah, he was great in Cincinnati.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Dude.
Bro. Your coughing makes me want to cough.
It's so bad, bro. It is a plague right now.
It's ridiculous. Buffalo Hunter, Utah fans on Twitter made Utah the most hated school in the Big 12. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that at all in any way, shape, or form. Utah fan on Twitter is just not that's not the fan you were looking for.
Toxic.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. Danny Kiger, now the Monty Show will be coming to us from Big Ten country. Read the billboards. This is Pac-12 country over here. Do you guys understand? And I'm certain our Utah contingency does. Do you guys understand the arrogance that was attached to being in the Pac-12 from Utah fan? Do you guys understand that Jake is dying and coughing up a left nut right now? Do you guys understand the bumper stickers, the billboards, the T-shirts, and it's remarkable to me the level of ferocity, the level of belief that they were superior to BYU. I mean, it was unbelievable. And then that decline of the Pac-12 was, holy cow, the fall from grace. LOL, I heard the Pac-7 was trying to lure Utah, I'm sure. And the sad thing
trying to control their little worlds.
The sad thing is Utah is a really good school with one of the best athletic directors in the country unless he loses to BYU. You have one of the best administrations, facilities, you name it. Utah is top of the table in a lot of categories. Well, except winning last year. But my point is, well, in men's basketball, who doesn't win either. But my point is that you have a really fine institution there, and it's this ridiculousness where Utah fan looks down on the Big 12. So we spread rumors saying that they're going to the Big 10 today. Like, stop. Many Utah fans were bad, but I think they have settled down now. Well, when you have the year they had last year, you better pipe down.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. And he says, Zach reminds me of Marcus Mariota career so far. Another bust. Marcus Mariota.
I think Zach can be better than him, but obviously he's got to prove it.
Yeah. The Buffalo Hunter. Yes, eye patch. I feel better now. Clowns like you make Utah hated.
Damn.
Clowns like you. Mike Smith. They infected with the coronavirus with a side order of RFK Jr. measles.
Dude.
The coronavirus.
It's rough, bro.
It's brutal.
Very powerful.
This coughing thing, you guys, and I know you're tired of hearing me talk about it. I got to Chicago last Thursday, and I was fine. And then like Saturday afternoon, midway through the Cubs game, I started feeling like death warmed over. And the worst part is Jake was sick. He got over it. My wife got sick. She gave it to me through close bodily fluid exchanging. There was an exchange of bodily fluid. No, she gave it to me. I got sick in Chicago, like almost immediately as soon as we got there. I was sick Sunday, Monday, and part of Tuesday. Fine on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday it was like the Black Death arrived.
Yeah, dude.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
So it goes away, and then it comes back, and you're just foobarred.
Yeah.
And now I get home, and yesterday was rough, dude. After the show yesterday, I was sitting upstairs, like listening to my lungs die. Like this gurgling. I'm laying in bed last night, and my lungs are like gurgling. It was terrible.
It's gnarly, dude.
And I have the microchip injected in my arm multiple times, and I have the flu vaccine. And now my wife's doctor's like, hey, you old fart, did you get the pneumonia vaccine? No.
It was the virus that killed it.
How many vaccines do I need? Can't I just stick a light up my ass? Right? Like,
they have the sniffles.
Yeah, drink some bleach, dude. It'll be fine. Whatever it is, it needs to go away. It needs to go away.
The crazy part is like, it's not a head cold. It is a cough that, like, last night, bro, I got up at 3:30. Me and late night P guy had a conversation, and I got up and I was like I wake up in bed. I open my eyes and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, my throat doesn't hurt. Like, I'm breathing fine. I'm breathing closed mouth through my nose. Like, we're in a good place. Only you stand up out of bed and you hack up half a lung and almost fall over, get into the toilet in the dark. That didn't really work out so well for me. So it's just a weird thing.
Noel Ramirez says, damn, Locked On Big 12 got Monty and Jake.
Apparently.
What's Locked On Big 12 got to do with something? Oh, are they the ones that... Okay, so I saw the Utah story came to me from a message board post on TikTok today. Somebody DM'd it to me. And I'm just like, are you really going to jump in on that? And the guy who sent it to me is a diehard Utah homer.
Yeah.
Like, are you really?
Now, you want to have a conversation about what they should do? Not like what actually is happening, but hey, what's best case scenario?
And that does not, best case scenario is not going to the Big Ten.
Well,
don't say it. Don't say it. Go pick your nose.
Listen.
They should not go to the Big Ten. They're in the perfect league for their university. The Big 12 is a great fit for Utah. It's a wonderful league. It's a great commissioner. They're going to make good money there. I would not be, I ain't doing it. I would not be surprised at all if Locked On Big 12 is the one lying about Utah going to the Big Ten. Buffalo Hunter, Utah doesn't have enough scandals to join the Big Ten. That's probably true.
That's fair. That's fair.
Probably. They're not a scumbag, like, such as in, like, enough to be allowed. You have to be a certain level of scumbag loser to be allowed in the city of Ann Arbor.
With all due respect.
Oh, look at that. Stadium guy James. He is intimately familiar with the lack of an upper deck and the need to put an IPF on top of the light towers at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The only reason for Utah to the Big Ten makes sense is giving USC and UCLA, Oregon, and Washington another opponent west of the Rockies.
Yeah, I don't think Utah cares about that.
I don't think they care at all.
I think that, respectfully, James, like,
no,
that doesn't matter. I actually think what it would be for Utah, and again, I'm with you. I don't think this has any traction. Like, just to set the record
it's
straight,
not real. It's lies.
Not real. It's lies.
It's fake and made
up. It's a fugazi. Like, but again, anytime a school, like, set Utah aside, again, just anytime a school is looking at changing conferences, it's all about money. That's it. Hey, if we're going to move, like, whether it's, Dr. Scott at Memphis, whether it's Gloria Navarez talking about it in the Mountain West, whether it's JD Wicker looking like an absolute idiot now with his comments, like, anytime someone talks about realignment or moving, it's all about money. It has nothing to do with scheduling is a very secondary thing to how much money are we actually going to make? Are we going to improve our situation? So I think that right now we're in the slow season in college football and people need stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Sounds like your Rona virus from Utah had a Rona baby with the Chicago Rona and made a super Rona.
CAC.
Could happen. I'm out of the woods now. I don't actually feel bad.
No.
I don't feel sick. I'm much better today than I was yesterday. Although this morning, I'll be honest with you, was rough. I took a shower. I think the water was 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And that sort of helped. And then around 11 o'clock, I had a bowl of oats, and that changed my life.
Biggest kick in the balls you'll ever get.
Loved it. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Eric Watsikow, there he is. Yeah, see, he's not banned. What did you say, Eric, that got your comment filtered? I'd be interested. TDS Tuesday could be. Could be. Buffalo Hunter, the Big 12 is also being abandoned by their top-tier college football,
Right.
Nutters of a feather love those conspiracy theories. I just don't. Why do people eat that stuff up? That's what I don't understand. What is it that fans love so much about lies and BS? Remember the $60 million, so $600 million. Oh, $600 million. The Pac-12 is going to hold the college football playoff hostage.
Sure. How'd that work out for you?
They didn't get $600 million and nobody got held hostage. But yet, hook, line, and sinker. It's wild to me. I don't get it. Mike Smith, I'm happy that the NFL draft is coming up. Shedeur Sanders working out for the Giants. Multiple teams, including the Saints now, are going to have last-minute workouts with him.
Have to. Here's my single biggest question for this year's NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be the biggest screw-up in this draft in terms of franchises, not players? Who is going to make the decision? Because, again, we get this every year, and I'm telling you guys, this draft, it is written all over the forehead of this draft. Somebody is going to mess this up. Like, just book it. Somebody's going to mess it up, and they're not going to draft a guy, or they will draft someone they should not have drafted, and that's going to come back to get them for like 5-6 years.
Who's going to be the team that doesn't draft a quarterback and regrets it?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge question. And I don't know excuse me, I don't know the answer to it. But let's vet it out in 30 seconds after this from PrizePicks.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Boy, you tripping.
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with PrizePicks.
PrizePicks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. You guys know I had it all on the line last night. I was sitting up in the living room watching the latest episode of Chicago Pizzle. Chicago PD was actually very good. A Kevin Atwater episode is exactly what I needed.
Let's go, baby.
Mrs. Monty was in the kitchen using the new dustpan I bought her in Chicago with a Cubs logo on it. That's not true. We were watching Chicago PD last night, and I was looking at my phone. And I was looking at my $400 flex play going out the window. As Aaron Judge, Spencer Torkelson, you dick, and Jung Ho Lee all put up zeros for me. Nothing. Shaboy's out $20. Had to buy a new fish tank heater today. Can't afford it. Jung Ho Lee stole the school clothes money. The best part about daily fantasy is today's a new day. Today's a new day, friends.
Yeah.
And when we look at this cough and what it's doing to me, tomorrow's a new day. Now, here's the question I have for you. NBA with the play-in, because you've got Ja at Golden State.
First team all hand grenades.
You're such a jerk. What about my and we, the Chicago Bulls, the beloved?
Bulls.
What do you guys think of the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs? Because I really want to take under 15. I just don't think I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls host the Heat tomorrow in the play-in. Tonight it's Grizzlies Warriors. That's on TNT, and then Hawks and Magic. Paolo Banchero, dude. I think Paolo Banchero's the guy you go with tonight. I got to tell you, I think you look at the Orlando Magic. Paolo Banchero's 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
More.
You think more?
More.
Why?
Because he's a central figure on their team. He's going to decide if they win or lose ball games, and in the playoffs, your best player is going to have the ball more. I mean, he's got a couple other lines here, like just to give you guys some examples. By the way,
Demon's 49.5.
I also love this. PrizePicks did a massive update on their app several weeks ago now.
Yes.
One of the favorite things that I love that they did in the update is when you click on a player to look at which demon you want to take, if you scroll down, they'll give you all the lines that you can select on that given player.
Yep.
So maybe you don't love the points, rebounds, and assists, let's say. You can just do points. You can do 3 point, 3
points in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Like there are all these different lines. And, so to me, I look at this and I say, okay, yeah, like points and assists on a Goblin, 29.5 seems pretty reasonable.
How about Steph and Desmond Bain combined 3-pointers made? 8. More or less?
More.
I think more. Desmond Bain can shoot the rock.
Yeah.
Desmond Bain can shoot the rock. And then I love the rebound combo. And it is Anthony Davis and Domantas Sabonis, 25.5. But that's Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Or Draymond Green and Zach Edey, 18.5.
I don't like that one.
I don't like that one at all.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
So I think we just go back to the NBA is so difficult on PrizePicks, but I love it. I think if we just go points, how about straight up points? Cole Anthony, 5.5, more or less.
Points?
Yes. He is, and I would remind you, they're playing Atlanta. Last time he played Atlanta, he had 2. Before that, he had 1 against Atlanta. I don't love that one. How about Wendell Carter Jr.?
Hey, Wendell, sir.
Last time out, he had 4 points against Atlanta. His number, his demon number's 14.5.
His demon.
I don't know. I don't like that one either. I'm going with Franz Wagner.
Hey, Franz.
I like his. How about 20.5 on a Goblin? Going more. That's my NBA picks tonight. I got Paolo Banchero, more than 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Steph and Desmond Bain, more than 8 3-pointers. And I got Franz Wagner, more than 20.5 points.
Okay.
I'm going with that one tonight.
I've got Curry and Bain, 49 points combined.
Okay.
Ja Morant, more than 3.5 points in the first 5 minutes. And KCP for less than 7.5 field goal attempts.
Okay. And then I'm going to go Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Charlie Morton.
Hey, Charlie.
Do you guys like Charlie Morton?
Yes.
2.5 runs, earned runs, more or less. I'm going more.
Who's he got?
He's got Cleveland tonight, the Gardos.
Yeah, you got to go more.
I'm going more.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton. I like that one a lot.
Gotta take Tatis tonight, bro.
Why?
Because they had a great night last night.
But the Cubs tonight are in San Diego, and it's Shota Imanaga, Cubs' best pitcher at 2-1, going up against Vasquez. I think I got to take Shota not to give up more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. You think you go more than that?
I'm going Fernando Tatis.
You're such a jerk.
More than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
The Dodgers have the Rocks tonight.
Yeah.
Shohei, the Gamblers, 1.5 total bases.
Gimme.
More.
Gotta take it. That's a gimme.
And then I think you have to go Justin Verlander and Jesus Luzardo. First inning runs allowed, more or less.
More.
More?
It's 1 run. They got to allow 1 run combined
in the first inning.
Yeah, more. I'll do it. I'll take more on that.
That one.
Okay,
you're really in Philadelphia.
I've got a four-piece chicken nugget working right here.
No.
Okay, got a 4-piece chicken nugget.
What's
working
the
right
rule?
Here. I know you're only supposed to do 3, but listen to what I got here. I've got the Tatis Jr. line, 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs on a demon. More. Aaron Judge to hit a home run tonight against Kansas City. More on a demon. The Great Gambler for more than 1.5 total bases.
You just can't help yourself.
And then Verlander and Luzardo to allow a run in the first inning.
All right, there you go. PrizePicks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. Download it. Make sure you use the promo code to open up a new PrizePicks account. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more instantly. Noel Ramirez says the Franz. Hey, yeah.
Hey.
I'm going with the Franz. Johnny Gonzalez, United Center, back in that era with the Jock Jam blasting to the rafters, made fans know that it could not last forever. Jock Jams was amazing. It was amazing. You know. Eric Wasikowski. You guys are being idiots about this. Little Caesars Arena. I'd call it something else.
The LCA
is hosting its first playoff appearance, but the stadium, best stadium in the league. It's not close, even in the same hemisphere as some of the others. The Detroit Pistons will not allow their fans to buy tickets unless they live in the region because they're so scared of Knicks fans. This is a bad look.
Yeah.
This is a bad look. Come on, man. Man, if we had a player that could shoot just below league average behind the arc, the Magic would be deadly.
Yep. But you don't.
And if I was 100 pounds less, I probably would have another inch, but I don't, so I don't. You know. It's just kind of the equation.
What's the stat for every I believe it's every 30 pounds you lose?
You gain 6 inches.
No, I think it's every 30 pounds you lose, you get an inch.
Is that true?
I believe that's correct.
Dude, I need to lose like 500 pounds then. Because I need them inches, you know. Okay. I think it's very interesting. Mike Smith, TJ Watt Steelers issue. I know I was reading about this today. He's not getting away from TJ Watt's not getting away.
No.
That's never going to happen. I just don't see it. Pat McAfee had Ian Rappaport on today because why would you want Adam Schefter? Rappaport said that Watt is due for a raise because of Myles Garrett's contract. And the question is, when will the Steelers give TJ Watt a raise? I think TJ Watt's the best defensive lineman in the league.
Yeah.
Most disruptive, complete package. You know how much I study these dudes' package.
Yeah, nice package.
TJ Watt's not going anywhere. There's not a chance in the world that he leaves Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, he's entering the last year of his deal, right? So, you know, he's what is he, $21 million base, you know, like not making the money he should be making. He's definitely due for a raise. They're going to pay him. Like this is not rocket
Do you have
science.
any doubt?
No, no doubt. The only concern I have would just be the years, how many years that deal is going to be, because he's, you know, at the end of this contract, he's going to be 32 years old. So, you know, you figure, all right, you're past 30 in the NFL. That's a general rule of thumb that you're not getting some 5-year deal, obviously. So, you know, if he gets a 3-year deal, 4th year incentive, you know, 4th year option, let's say, I could see a deal like that. And I think they'll pay him. Yeah, I do. And I also think that, you know, if Shedeur Sanders is available at 12, I believe they draft, if memory serves, they're going to take him, in my opinion, if he's available.
Yeah, I don't think that.
And I don't think he'll be available.
I don't think he's available. That's just me, but I don't think it's available at all. Buffalo Hunter, Jarrah will wait to sign Micah until after Watt gets paid. Why try to be early and save money? Historically, he's not done that.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to save money?
All right, let's revisit the Shedeur Sanders conversation from yesterday real quick.
Yeah.
Again, on an I told you so Tuesday.
Right.
I told you the Pac-12 was not getting $600 million, right? I told you that Jake is not really that smart. 2 for 2. I told you Shedeur Sanders isn't going to fall out of the first round.
That's right, T.
My track record speaks for itself. I don't think there's any way. And if I live to see the NFL draft, or Easter for that matter, I'm very curious if he's going to the New York Giants now. And I understand that the New Orleans Saints are probably the best option for him at this point. I think a team trades up. I think it could be the Saints making a deal with the Giants. No, I do not think Shedeur Sanders ends up with the Giants. Yeah, I do think the Giants trade out of that spot. Either the Giants or the Browns will trade out. If the Browns trade out first, I think the Giants will draft Travis. And the Browns, well, they are stupid, so they'll look stupid. But I think either the Browns or the Giants trade out of that spot. I have a hard time thinking they pass on Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Real hard time.
But if you're the New York Giants and you're sitting there third, you have an oft-injured Abdul Carter, or you can trade out with New Orleans, get an extra pick, and still pick, what, 9th? That deal makes all the sense in the world.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And again, this is why I say I think this draft is loaded with opportunities to mess it up, because I think this draft requires you to have vision for where you're taking your franchise. You know, this is not a draft where it's like, all right, hey, we're at 3, we're auto picking this guy, right? Like, no, this is a draft where it's like, hey, we're at 3 and there's a lot of different ways we could go with this. Like, what's our vision? What's our philosophy? And, you know, how do we best take advantage of this situation? Because there are crazy people out there that would tell you that Tennessee should trade out and pick up a ton of value and pass on Cam Ward and, you know, just stay with Will or whatever. And, you know, other people will tell you, no, you got to take Cam Ward and then, you know, build your draft from there. So I just think personally that, you know, people are going to make mistakes in this draft. And I think everyone wants to talk about how Shedeur's not that guy. And, you know, he's got all these shortcomings and yada, yada, yada. But what we should be talking about is, hey, which big time organization is going to keep being bad because they don't have a franchise quarterback because they keep trading out the slot? Like, how many times is that going to happen? How many times are the Giants or the Jets or, you know, whoever you want to point to going to trade out of a top 5 pick and not have a quarterback? Because ultimately, like, you know, you look at what New England's doing. Like, Vrabel didn't go there to lose. So what have they been doing? They've been completely overhauling that roster and dealing guys like Joe Milton III, and they've been really committed to their path. But now we're getting the New York Giants vacillating and going back and forth on,
vacillating.
Well, are we going to get Abdul Carter? Are we going to get Shedeur? Like, who are we going to get?
But I think you look at the Cowboys with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith retiring.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers that they completely wasted their career. That's the danger that you have when you mishandle the cap. And I think you look at the Giants, I think they learned a lot from the Saquon Barkley situation. You've got to have talent to win Super Bowls.
Yes.
And if you don't have a real talented young guy at quarterback, you're in trouble. Because if we learned anything, by the way, from the San Francisco 49ers, they won with Brock Purdy, not enough. They didn't go far enough. They didn't win the ultimate, but they won a lot, and they were able to retain guys and overpay a guy like Brandon Ayuk because they had a rookie quarterback deal. And I think that's, if you're drafting, like you look at Bryce Young in Carolina, do you guys understand that they now have the most expensive offensive line in the NFL? The Carolina Panthers. Look at the Chicago Bears, the 5th most expensive offensive line in the NFL, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like $66 million.
Mm-hmm.
because they have rookie deals at the quarterback position, starting rookie deals. If Bryce Young continues and develops, and
right,
we'll see. But if you look at these quarterbacks, I'm pretty sold that Jackson Dart will be the best NFL player in this draft at quarterback. Cam Ward's going to have to show me something.
Yeah, I mean,
jeez, Cam Ward's going to have to show me something.
Yeah.
And Shedeur, I think, is the safer pick between the two. That's just my opinion. Between Cam Ward and Shedeur, I'd take Shedeur.
Yeah, I think the thing with that people are getting stuck with on Cam is they feel like Cam's played better competition and he's played in bigger games and he's more suited for a bigger market. And I don't know that I agree with that. I don't, to be quite honest, I don't think we've seen Cam play in a big market. Like, I know Miami's a bigger school than Colorado, let's say, from a national perspective, but Miami is not New York. Miami is not, national media coverage kind of situation. Like, and if anything, like, didn't Miami kind of choke at the end there? Like, are we just ignoring?
I think that's strong.
But hold on. But if it's not strong when you put it next to, Shedeur, like Shedeur only throws 5-yard outs and Shedeur only does this, Shedeur only does that. Like people are hating on Shedeur Sanders for like the other day when dude was like, hey, 30% of his passes went to Travis Hunter. What if he doesn't have a number one in his offense? Like, if we're going to do that to Shedeur, then I think you have to have like for like, hate is strong. I'm not trying to hate on Cam, but like for like criticism. And I think that people are too high on Cam Ward. He's very talented. I am sure he's going to play well in the league. But you're not trying to get a guy that's just going to play well in the league at that pick. You're trying to get a guy that's a franchise level quarterback that can take you to the promised land and can develop probably, in 2 seasons. And then that third season is like hey, we're going to go to the playoffs and try and do something season. Like, that's what you're talking about here. So can Cam Ward realistically turn into a guy that's not, that's more risk adverse and takes care of the football?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, you are who you are, right?
Like, how many times is he gonna run right and throw left?
How many times is he going to make the mistake of throwing back over the middle?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that repeatedly from him. So, the Louisville game was only a game because he turned the football over, in my opinion. Like, that didn't need to be as close as it was. The Va-Tech game? Bro, the Va-Tech game came down to video review. Like, I just think that people hold Shedeur Sanders to this impossibly high bar and then don't want to talk about all the times that Cam Ward kept the other team in the game. like that's my problem with this draft. So my point is that are the New York Giants gonna take Shedeur, or is New Orleans gonna trade up? Yeah, I think New Orleans is gonna do everything they can do to trade up in this draft. And I don't know if that's with the Giants.
Is he a better fit with the Giants or with New Orleans?
Well, I think New Orleans has more of a need. Obviously, the Giants have spent some money at quarterback, and again, this plays right into the point I was making. Like, look at the Giants and what they've done at quarterback. You've got Russell Wilson, you've got Jameis. You have a room there, but the question is, do you want to bring in a young guy and have him sit behind those two and learn, or are you going to try to take one last run with Russell Wilson and hope that can pan out for you? My personal opinion is I would draft Shedeur, have him sit behind those guys, have him learn, have him not be in the pressure cooker right out the gate. And then when it's his time to step up, he can step up. And
Shedeur's a better fit with the Giants. They have better talent at wide receiver. He has shown you he can deliver the football in time and space.
Yeah.
To big quality wide receivers. There's just no doubt about that. And when you start looking at it's not like the NFC East is some, behemoth of a division. The Philadelphia Eagles are clearly the best team there. But when you look at Malik Neighbors, when you look at Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, you look at Humphrey, Pascal, Hyatt, like, they've got deep wide receivers. Their offensive line is average at this point, but their biggest issue is, do they have a guy who can get the ball to Malik Neighbors down the field? And right now the answer is no, I don't think they do.
Yeah.
And if they're going to win, and if you're going to get anything out of, Thomas, Runyon, Schmidt, Van Roten, that the offensive line that you've invested in a little bit. And I still think you have a good defense. Don't forget they traded for Brian Burns. Like you have Kayvon Thibodeau. You have a wild amount of talent that's better than your record was last year. You're not 3-14 and dead last in the NFC East.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. If I am Shedeur Sanders and I get drafted by the Giants, I'm excited.
Yeah.
If I'm Shedeur Sanders and I get drafted by the Aints, I'm not that excited. I truly am not. It is. I look at what he had to deal with in Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
The expectations, the daddy ball, the offensive line, and yet what did they do? Well, it turns out daddy ball wasn't a real thing. Deion Sanders, I know this is crazy. Deion can actually coach football. And he hired an elite staff. And their offensive line got better. And their wide receivers were elite. And Shedeur's elite. And he actually can throw the football. My guess is Shedeur's going to be just fine in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I understand it. I understand why certain people are rooting against him. And a lot of it is he's Deion Sanders' son.
Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. I think he's perfectly equipped to handle the media.
He is.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing he hasn't seen that he's going to see in the NFL already. The hate that Shedeur Sanders dealt with, I think it is, in my opinion, it was all prep for the NFL. Everywhere they went. I mean, everywhere they went. It was a thing where it was always the Coach Prime show.
Yes.
They were, whether it was Lubbock and they were throwing quarters in water bottles, and that's who they are. They're used to it. It's what they do.
Yes.
I think he's uniquely qualified.
Yeah. And I would draft him too. 100% I would.
Yeah. Shedeur is to Travis Hunter as Johnny Manziel is to Mike Evans. Johnny Manziel to Mike Evans. I'm not sure I get that compared. Do you mean Baker Mayfield? Both are mobile QBs who had superstar wide receivers to throw to. Oh, you mean it? Okay. What will Sanders be without Travis Hunter?
See, I don't know why this is such a thing.
Let me get this right. You just compared Johnny Manziel and Shedeur Sanders. Johnny Manziel, a drug addict. Johnny Manziel, who was unprofessional, didn't prepare, who was never ready to be an NFL quarterback. And your belief is that's who Shedeur Sanders is going to be. On what piece of evidence are you standing that has shown you, A, even just on a little level, that Shedeur is any kind of addict to anything? B, what evidence is there he's ill-prepared? If anything, the kid is over-prepared. There's nobody that questions Shedeur Sanders' work ethic. That kid puts in the work. And we're comparing him to Johnny Manziel? That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's disrespectful. Yeah.
That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you came up with that one.
I don't know. Sanders falls to below 10. I can't see it happening. If he falls out of the top 10, it's going to be one of the great robberies of the NFL draft. Because again, I keep going to all of the mock drafts, right? And you look at the latest Kuiper mock draft. He's got Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3, Will Campbell 4, Mason Graham 5, Ashton Ginty 6. He's got Membu 7, Jalen Walker 8. He's got Shedeur Sanders 9 to New Orleans. And then Tyler Warren, the Pedo State tight end of the Bears at 10. But he freely talks about how there's a real good chance that the Raiders or the Saints try to move up in the draft to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
If you're the New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr's out for the year, how do you not draft a quarterback?
Yeah, and I also think that this whole conversation around Jalen Milroe that seems to be heating up is crazy.
That's
to me.
wild to me.
There has been all this smoke around, the Browns and Jalen Milroe and, all this like, hey, Jalen Milroe's a dark horse to be a top 3 pick. And like, and he's talented, dude. But I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to sit here and draft a QB who's not capable of throwing at an NFL level. I don't believe the guy is. I'm sure he's got arm talent, but he's not clearly shown the ability to stand in the pocket and deliver. So I'm just shocked. And this is what I mean. Like if Jalen Milroe gets drafted before Shedeur Sanders, that's a crime, dude. That is incredible.
Yeah, I don't see it. Deliric, Raiders, Saints, and Steelers should be talking to the Giants for that pick. And there was a report today, I think it was Field Yates on ESPN reported that Mike Tomlin loves Shedeur Sanders and would like to move heaven and earth to trade up to get him. Is that why we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers sign a contract in Pittsburgh yet? That's a very interesting one. Imagine Travis Hunter in Detroit and Holmes Cooks. I don't think Travis Hunter. You don't need Travis Hunter in Detroit. You need you've got to at some point. You've got to at some point if you are the Detroit Lions. And I don't know how you do it. Because if you look at what they need, I think they need Aiden Hutchinson's opposite number. And I think when you start looking at the guys that are going to be available at the bottom of that draft, I think certainly Mikael Williams from Georgia makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of dudes down here at the bottom of the first round that I think the kid whose name I can never pronounce from Boston College, Azir Ruaku, fantastic player. I think the guy that's really helped himself is Tyler Shook. I was talking to a guy, a media guy today, who told me Tyler Shook could very well be a high second-round pick. And I think that 34th spot to the Giants, and here's why I think it makes sense for the Giants to make a trade. Because you have a lot of assets, and just looking at the bottom of the first round and trying to, kind of project where they would end up. If you look at picks 20 on down, Denver, Pittsburgh at 21, then the Chargers, Packers, Vikings, Texans, Rams, Ravens, Lions, and then Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. There's going to be a lot of trades, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of maneuvering, which means there's going to be a lot of talent available at the top of the second round. Jahad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama, I think is one of them. Trey Amos, the corner from Ole Miss. I think that's pretty close to where Jackson Dart will get drafted if he doesn't go in the first 5. I think you look at some of the guys that are picked. Is that where we get the wide receiver run at the top of the second round?
Possibly, yeah.
Because you have a ton of dudes there. I think when you look at Luther Burden from Missouri, fantastic player. That guy's a top of the second round caliber player. You look at the Big 12 zone, Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. You look at like Travion Henderson to the Bears. The Bears certainly got to be looking running back at 39, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Travion's going to be there. Kenneth Grant, the tackle from Michigan. Michigan was very disruptive up the middle. You think the Bears could use a guy like that? You think the Bears could use Nick Scroton from Texas A&M, the edge? Because they've got multiple picks there. And I think you get down to when you get into the 60s in this draft, I think you're going to start to see some very interesting. There he is. Landon Jackson, the edge rusher from Arkansas, I think is going to be a steal in this draft. Will he be there in the early 60s? Or is he a guy that gets drafted higher? I think there's a lot of interesting money being spent late in the first round, second round. And I understand that the skill position, the flash player, doesn't make everybody
stay hard.
I get it in this draft. It's not as deep as you would think.
Yeah.
But the stadium guy, James, for $10. I haven't read this comment. I'm going to guess when he pays $10, he's usually backpedaling. I never mentioned addiction. Well, the problem is you said Johnny Manziel. You said Johnny Manziel. You compared Shedeur Sanders to Johnny Manziel. What I'm saying is Sanders is a mobile QB who had a star wide receiver to throw to in college. Okay, so then what do you say about all the other? Are you telling me that every quarterback who's got a star wide receiver should be graded down because you were throwing to Tataroa McMillan? Are you telling me Quinn Ewers should be knocked down because he was throwing to the fastest wide receivers in college football? Jake Retzloff should be knocked down.
Sucks.
Will Howard sucks. What sense does that make? Saints or Giants, if you take Sanders, you better get a wide receiver in the second round to help him.
But that's with any quarterback, bro.
The Giants have a plethora, including Malik Neighbors. Yeah. So should we knock Joe Burrow down because of who he had on? Do you realize who Joe Burrow threw to in college? Are you kidding me?
You want to talk about a roster in college, bro.
You can't. The problem is both ends of your argument don't hold water. And I know this is crazy talk. If you had an inaccurate passer throwing to Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Do we not take into consideration that Shedeur Sanders completed 74% of his passes? And I know that Travis Hunter was the only guy he ever threw the ball to. He completed 74% of his passes.
I don't care who you are, dude. If you're plus 70%, you're doing something right.
I am not the guy. If you're going to make a living trying to wreck Shedeur Sanders as somebody who was only a quarterback because Johnny Manziel had Mike Evans in college, you probably ought to write that pedo priest book.
Yeah.
Because you're not making a living as a sports opinion maker. There is, let's be real clear about this, zero comparison between Johnny Manziel and Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. Not even a little bit. Johnny Manziel was a problem on and off the field. He was an addict and a horrendous professional in multiple leagues. I'm going to say that Shedeur has had every opportunity to be a malcontent or a problem or a prima donna off the field, and he never was. The guy was making more money than just about anybody, and he showed up every single week.
Yeah.
And I'd also remind you, one of his wide receivers won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah. So, I just don't know how you, like, you're saying here, hey, I never mentioned addiction. Well, you brought up Johnny, bro. Like, do you really think that making that comparison, that's not going to get, like, again, when you're drafting a quarterback, do I really need to say this? Like, you're not just evaluating his on the field performance, right? You're, of course, evaluating who he is as a dude.
Yes.
So, like, if you're going to compare people, I guess I just thought it was a given that if you're going to make comparisons like that, like, it's not just on the field.
Yeah. I'm all for opinions. Comparing Shedeur to Johnny Manziel is not a good comparison. That is just not a good comparison.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What else are people saying?
What else are people saying? Mike Smith. Ooh, James is right in what his point is. By the way, did Sanders win the Heisman like Johnny did? No. But I think we're also in a wildly different time in college football. And I also think that when I look at Shedeur, that offensive line prevented him from winning pretty much anything. I mean, he had a terrible offensive line.
And by the way, Johnny Manziel was everyone's All-American while he played college football. People don't like Shedeur because of his dad.
And he still completed 74% of. And let's do it. I'm happy. You guys, listen, I know a lot of you don't believe this, but I actually watch a lot of college football. My wife loves it.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
If you look at Johnny Manziel's.
Hey, Johnny.
What do you guys think off the top of your head his completion percentage was?
64% off the top of my head.
How about on his career? On his career, Johnny Manziel was a 68.9% pass completer.
Okay. Very good.
He threw too many interceptions. He had 63 touchdowns, 22 interceptions.
Right.
And he only threw 863 passes. Now, if you go to Shedeur, in his college career at Colorado, he completed 71.8% of his passes with no offensive line. On 900 attempts, I would remind you, 64 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. And the guy was rated 160. Johnny Manziel was rated 164. Shedeur averaged 306 yards a game. Johnny Manziel averaged 300. Like, their numbers are not that far apart. And you look at their best seasons. Johnny's best season was 2013, 4,114 yards, 37 touchdowns. Shedeur's best season, 4,134 yards, 37 touchdowns. So statistically, are they comparable? Yes. Is anything else about their game comparable? Absolutely not. And here's the other part that I'll remind you. Shedeur Sanders is not a dual threat quarterback. And this is a narrative that a lot of people keep bringing up. Shedeur Sanders is not a dual threat quarterback. He does not run. What Shedeur does is he uses his mobility to escape pressure. And as we saw the last 2 years at Colorado, he's pretty good at that. Johnny Manziel was a dual threat, almost a run first quarterback in that first year. But
yeah,
I think it is pretty amazing that when I think of Johnny Manziel, I think of addiction. I think of going to Las Vegas instead of watching film and preparing.
Yeah.
I think of money off the table, under the table. I think of women. I think of potential lost. I don't think of any of that when I think about Shedeur, in my opinion. I just don't. But, hey, that's me. Where do you think Shiloh Sanders gets drafted? I don't know that he gets drafted.
Yeah, I don't know that he gets drafted, dude.
I don't know that he plays in the NFL. I'm sure somebody will give him a shot to make a roster.
He has undrafted free agent getting signed written all over him.
He does. Mike Smith, psst, you're not the only one who watches football. Fans making opinions on a sports show. Well, but my point is, I don't know how many people watching this show remember Johnny Manziel and the way he played. Because we don't even remember that Shedeur Sanders isn't a mobile quarterback, a run-first quarterback, a dual threat. He is a passing machine. And it's okay not to be a dual threat as long as you have the ability to run, and he does. And I think, because didn't Johnny Manziel run for like 1,000 yards? Yeah. Year one, he ran for 1,400 yards and 21 rushing touchdowns. That's the same year He threw for 3,700 yards, and he won the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the greatest college football seasons we've ever seen. Shedeur didn't have the talent around him to do that. So,
yeah.
But I'm not saying that I'm the only one that watches football. What I'm saying is, I just view it differently. I don't watch football as a fan. I watch it as an analyst. I watch football to break it down and talk about it. I don't watch football to be excited about Rocket Ishmael or as a Notre Dame fan, it takes a lot of the fun out of it for me because and I realize this now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch sports as a huge fan anymore.
Do you wish you could?
I do wish I could. I wish I could turn off the mind of the analyst, the note taker,
If you didn't do a show, do you think you could turn it off, or do you think you'll forever watch sports that way?
It's probably too baked in now.
Yeah.
I think because if you think about the way that we have to watch football to do this show, it's in volume. And when I'm looking at Colorado, I'm not even as much paying attention to the route that Travis is or what Shedeur is doing. I'm looking at the offensive line. I'm looking at the blocking scheme. And then I'm tracking Shedeur Sanders and tracking Travis and looking at the route and looking at the play. And because what you have to do is you have to look at the film after the game's over.
Yeah.
For a lot of the things you miss when you're watching the game. And I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders is an operator. Shedeur Sanders is, and the other thing I think people forget about Johnny Manziel is he was 6'1", 210 pounds. Right? And if you look at the Shedeur, and I want to see if his combine profile is still up. If you look at Shedeur's build, he's almost, I want to say exactly the same size as Johnny Manziel, 6'1", 212. I mean, they're almost the exact same size. And Shedeur is a superior passer.
Yeah.
To Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I just think it is. They are comparable, certainly, in terms of stats, build. You know, if you want to say flashiness, even I'll give you that. But what I think we're not saying here that is just a elephant in the room is Shedeur Sanders is a professional. Shedeur Sanders is somebody who understands the expectations and embraces them and doesn't do drugs to run from them, with all due respect.
Yeah.
And
I think Johnny Manziel had a very difficult life.
He did.
He's not dead, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's not dead. But my thing here is I didn't bring up Johnny Manziel, right? We didn't bring up Johnny Manziel. Oak State James brought up Johnny Manziel. And if we're going to bring up Johnny Manziel, then you don't get a free pass on all the bad decisions he made.
No.
And it's
because certainly when we're talking NFL draft, addiction is a big part of that.
Yeah. And so we're sitting here comparing these two guys and trying to say, well, hey, like, same build, similar numbers, we're going through the minutia of it, but half of the Johnny Manziel story doesn't take place on the football field. That's the problem. And if you really want to get into it, I could make a major argument that the pressure and the eyeballs on Shedeur Sanders for his entire life is greater than the cup of coffee that Johnny Manziel had in college football and at the NFL level. Yeah. And that Johnny Manziel had no appreciation for what he had. And he'll tell you this. And he said that in the documentary on Netflix. Hey, I didn't appreciate what I had, right? I didn't know what I had. I was just trying to party with the boys, which again, I don't hold that against Johnny.
No.
But if you're going to compare these two guys, let's not just leave out this part about how one of these dudes is a tried and true professional and the other dude is trying to go to the club and have fun with the boys.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Which is what the Chad Carter always does. Chad Carter's always at the club.
Yeah.
Not the club, the club. Good to see you, Chad. Member for 15 months.
Okay, let me pull it out here. All right, there you go.
Hi, friends. Miss you guys in the early hours. Hope everyone is healthy and doing well. P.S. Michigan sucks. I don't. You're going to get me in trouble, Chad. Johnny Gonzalez, I want Shedeur on my team because of the knowledge that he has absorbed from his Hall of Fame father and his entourage. Well,
it's one way to look at it.
That's one way to look at it. Noel Ramirez, same when I was a teen, I was watching every NBA game and Rays game. Now I totally forget there's a game on.
Well,
I'm Cubs-obsessed at this point. That means obsessed about the Cubs.
Right.
I don't forget that there's a Chelsea match on. I don't forget that there's a Cubs game or a Bears game. I love it. I love it. I have alerts on my phone. I don't forget much. It's what I do. That's the hard part. That and I watch Chicago PD reruns or Christina on the Coast. Because I'm not allowed in my house, I'm not allowed to watch Christina in the country because my wife, who is just a power hungry monger, who controls the remote control,
sounds kind of handsy.
She lets me watch what I want. We enjoy watching TV together, but it's why I have YouTube TV on my phone. Because there is no doubt that as a long-suffering, beat-down Chicago Cub fan, Tatis is going to go deep and Jake's going to be right tonight. But we don't live in that kind of world. We lie to ourselves. And we tell ourselves, yeah, that Cubs bullpen that, what did they give up? 8 runs last night?
I don't live in a what-if scenario.
What if we had a bullpen? That's silly talk. The Cubs don't spend money on him.
He's got no class.
What are you talking about, man?
Bro, I thought you just tried to put Cubs and bullpen in the same sentence, dude. Come on.
So let me get this right. Jamison Tyone, who shouldn't be a starting pitcher for the Cubs, but he is. 5 1/3, 3 runs, 2 earned. Not a quality start, but only 1 walk and 4 Ks. I like it. The Cubs bullpen gave up 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned. They walked 6 and they struck out 2 and they gave up 2 dongs.
No, you don't need to spend money on pitching.
It's a one-off. It's a one-off.
Well, Monty, look, we're in San Diego.
No
a whale's
Monty's.
vagina. Like it's just
no Monty's.
it's not a big deal.
And so tonight, when Shota Imanaga is going for the Cubs, and Randy Vasquez, who is that guy?
Randy Vasquez is here to sell you something.
Yeah,
Who the f- is that guy?
and it's probably his mom. 1-1, 1.72 ERA.
Sorry.
Don't. And just because he's given up half of the hits that Shota has, and Shota's given up 3 home runs, and Vasquez has given up none, we're going to be fine tonight. It's fine, dude. It's fine. The Cubs don't need pitching to lose every game. They do that on their own.
No.
You know why? Mike? There's no parade in Chicago. Cubs fan Morty has Stockholm syndrome. You're not wrong. Oh, gotta agree with Mrs. Monty. Had to give up on Suits LA. We watched 2 episodes of Suits LA last night. I'm into it. I like it. I like it. With the old cast coming in now with the new cast and Gabriel's back in the fold. Harvey Specter.
Where is Harvey Specter?
He's in Los Angeles now. I love it. Danny Kiger. Shedeur is Manziel 0. Same great play with 0 booger sugar. Exactly.
Booger sugar.
Nose candy, all the same thing there, you know. Johnny Gonzalez, baseball is a hitter's game with torpedo bats and stuff
torpedoes
that are not illegal. So, Big Blue Horses. So, who is Shedeur coming out?
Bro.
Josh Allen, Jared Gaff, Sex Machine, or maybe Sunshine in Jacksonville.
You mean 5-head?
He doesn't have the forehead or the crypto paycheck that Trevor Lawrence has. He's not the thrower that Herbert is. He's probably better than Jared Goff. I mean, Josh Allen's an MVP.
Yeah, he's not Josh Allen.
I would agree. He's not Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think he's more dynamic than Jared Goff.
And now for our favorite part of the show, because we mentioned the name
Monty.
Josh Allen.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
And what is turning into a daily tradition on the Marty program, Big Daddy Magic sends me videos. So what do we do with those videos? We single them up. There he is.
Big Daddy Magic, the heavyset one with the big gun with the sweet tongue.
It's time for the Big Daddy Magic Hour on the Monty Show. I probably shouldn't say that because he thinks I'm serious. Hello?
Hello?
Hold on.
Monty?
Hey, player. It's me, your best buddy, Big Daddy Magic. I'm at Taco Bell. They serve tacos, by the way.
Didn't know that.
Man, wow.
Didn't know that.
Buffalo Bill's hat.
Get the slurp in.
What I was thinking,
Uh-oh.
I think you should have a lot more viewers if you had Let's Talk Victor like twice a month. The things I do to help you out. Comprende? Comprende, bye.
Comprende by. Okay,
Victor's
well,
the way.
listen, I'm not by, but that's
Man,
that's
that
fine.
was, dude.
I mean, how have we not talked about Victor Wamba and your mama on this show
Victor's
yet?
the way.
You know, that feels like I've missed an opportunity now. And, you know.
I mean, who would it? So let's review. Let's review. So let me get this right. You went down to Taco Bell. You're having a French
Big
fry.
Daddy Magic did.
Yeah, BDM did. Goes down to the Bell on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Has French fries from Taco Bell, allegedly a Mexican joint. Says that they serve tacos there while eating a French fry.
Del Taco's got good French fries.
They do. Crinkle cuts. And, you know, ultimately tells us that it's all about Josh Allen and Victor, and it's the same, you know, thing. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you wake up and you say, all right, I'm going to go down to my local Taco Bell and give Monty a take.
Winning.
That sounds like a pretty good day, dude.
Winning.
Yeah.
That's a full, well-lived life.
Yeah. You know, and you're going to slurp on your soda. I mean, that sounds legit.
Slurp it.
Yeah.
I mean, who are we to tell you not to slurp it? You know, as men.
Yeah.
As men, nacho fries are a regular part of our testosterone boosting menu.
Y'all feel me?
A Mexican pizza, maybe a chalupa or 7. I mean, who says no to that? I don't. My doctor may. I don't, though.
No redos.
You know, I mean, let's head to Taco Bell, man. Ring the bell. KKR at Taco Bell. Entonces, like, I'm down. Whoa. You going to make it?
Oh, God, dude. Oh,
you know,
God, dude.
I mean, I listen, you guys, I don't try to hide it. I have an unhealthy relationship with Taco Bell. Now, I haven't been there in like 5 years, but that's not what I'm trying to point out here. What I'm saying is fast food tacos, whether that be Del Taco. Now, and I'm also not the kind of sycophant loser who goes to Taco Bell or goes to Del Taco and gets a burger. I'm not that guy.
The double Del is goated.
And I don't.
The double Del is goated.
I don't point out the people who do that. I don't point out the people.
This is blasphemy.
Who go to Del Taco and get a burger. I wouldn't do that.
That's bullshit.
Because we all know those people are pariahs in this world. I'm the guy that goes to Del Taco. Are you guys ready? And I get tacos.
What?
I'm the guy that goes to the finest fast food burger
what
joint
are you talking about, man?
on the lower level. Actually, it's a 10 out of 10 if you're like, I don't know, a rat. And I go to Jack in the Box and I get tacos instead of burgers. That's the life that I choose. Okay.
And curb rash your wheel, but yeah.
Occasionally,
right,
because of the ice. But
stay hard.
I don't judge people who eat French fries at Taco Bell. And listen, if you're a nacho fries guy, live short and prosper. It just is what it is.
Live short and prosper.
Well, you eat a lot of Taco Bell. You ain't living a long, happy life. I can tell you that now. And you're probably
fucking America.
You're probably going to live alone because that booty tootie is not going to be good. It is not going to be good.
That booty tootie.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Eric, nacho fries. I'm not hating on him. And I get choked up thinking about the nacho fries. And I want you to understand.
And that Taco Bell, they serve tacos, by the way.
Tacos.
Look at me in Buffalo Bills hat.
In his Buffalo Bills hat. and he's eating a nacho fry. Who am I to say?
Who are you to say no?
I mean, listen, so on your way to the cardiologist, just stop at Taco Bell real quick. Who's going to judge you for that? It won't be me.
I think that's HIPAA.
Si comprendo, allegedly. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Que quiero and stuff.
Yeah.
For once we agree you don't go to a taco place and order a burger. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, listen, dude, you're the guy that goes to Buc-ee's and,
I've never been to a Buc-ee's. So,
hell no.
Jeremiah Champion.
What's up, fellers?
Hope school was good today, man.
Yeah, any good school stories, bro? Any good like kids saying dumb things stories or?
The list is long. Well, Jake does use A1 sauce on steak. Should be your first red flag.
No, dude, bro.
See, Jake.
My childhood was littered with A1 sauce.
Jake asked, we were in Chicago. We drove through his childhood neighborhood, unfortunately for him.
Dude.
And he's like, bro, can we go to the White Hen Pantry? Can we go to White Hen and get A1 steak sauce and a straw? That's all I want right now. I couldn't let him do it. He asked, he begged. I actually had to duct tape him into the car to make sure that he didn't get out and do it on his own. Things happen. Noel Ramirez, why not, James? They have all the ingredients for a burger. It's probably on the secret menu.
Probably.
Okay. Jake is a food contrarian, a food provocateur. I would agree with that.
Yes.
Mike?
I like what I like, and I'm not scared to order. I'm not scared to order
Hey,
a
all right,
burger at a
here.
taco place.
Okay, so we go to Morton's, the steakhouse.
No, I didn't order a chicken
in
burrito.
Chicago. This SOB over here is like, hey, bro, can I get some ketchup? He literally asks the guy, do you have French fries and can I get some ketchup?
Do you even lift?
He did not ask him for ketchup.
By the way, I think we're off the Morton's train, dude.
Yeah, I'll never go to another Morton's steakhouse.
I was a little disappointed with that. That was not.
I'll never go to another Morton's.
Yeah.
Mrs. Monty and I were looking for, Delaric, who's been a member of this show.
Stay hard.
For 25 months. That's over 2 years.
Go, baby. Appreciate you.
Yes. Jake is secretly a blue cheese lover.
No, I'm not, dude. No.
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
you do eat bacon.
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't act like you wouldn't just mash bacon, dude.
No, I would not.
Come on.
I would.
Come
bacon
on.
is, dude, pigs roll around in their own feces.
I didn't say I eat it all the time.
Pigs.
I rarely eat bacon.
Pigs roll around in their own feces.
Right. I'm
And
sure
then
chickens do.
and
I'm
then
sure
they
cows
eat it.
do. I'm
They
sure
eat-
turkeys do. And you
pigs
still
eat-
eat turkey.
Pigs eat
Like-
their own feces.
Like,
And what do you think? What do you think's in that bacon? Pig feces.
nacho fries? I don't know.
Not nacho fries. Everyone knows you put ketchup on your steak. Now, I'm not. Listen, I actually am a ketchup on steak guy. If I'm going to throw one on the Traeger, no, I'm probably not doing. I'm more of a ranch on steak guy. Yes, I said it,
dude,
and I'm proud of it. And don't stare at me like that.
It is what it is.
Damn right. I will put ranch on a steak long before ketchup.
What's the most obscene condiment to put on food? Like ketchup on steak at a nice steakhouse. Like
I'm a big believer that mustard doesn't belong on hot dogs. I hate mustard on hot dogs.
Okay, what about mustard with pretzels? Are you a mustard and pretzel guy?
No, I'm a queso with pretzel guy. I want the cheese. I want the queso.
Yeah, that's good.
I hate mustard. My wife loves mustard. My wife is a weirdo. She's on this kick where she's eating cherry tomatoes like they're grapes.
Well, my tomatoes are fruit, you know.
Oh, stop, Jay. It's just, is it stupid question day on the Marty program?
Bro, that's not even a conversation.
Like, come on. It's Ruth's all day long. Jay, good to see you, my guy.
Yeah.
Ruth's all day long.
Yeah.
If you hate bacon, you hate America.
Well, I mean, that is a discussion that we can have.
So we go out to dinner with my a-hole brother. Cubs, Bulls. How about those Bulls? White Sox are terrible. Hey, what do you think of politics? And
Yes,
Donnie?
Americans.
No, I'm good.
And you know what was so funny
Just
too?
wouldn't let it go.
You know what was so funny too? It was like the kind of like awkward icebreaker conversation with sports. But then the real meat and potatoes, if you will, the conversation had to be politics. It just had to be. We couldn't talk about like, you know, normal stuff. Had to be politics.
I'm not here for it. Jeremiah Champion. Well, was told today that I am the second most sassiest teacher in the entire school. The kids say it's a good thing. Okay.
Well, Monty, they told me I have some Riz here, so you know.
Well, I watched SVU last night. Or no, actually, it was just Law and Order, the regular one. Watch out for those teachers and kid relationship there.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of SVU and I watch a lot of Law and Order. I know what happens. BYU football. If you know how to cook steak, you only need a light seasoning. I never put anything on my steaks. It would ruin it. Well, I actually think it enhances it.
Yeah.
When I go to Ruth's Chris, and really when I go to Mastro's, the Ocean Club, especially in Las Vegas, nothing touches my steak. They season it perfectly. The only thing that touches my steak is the shrimp that I get and then the acid and the chemicals in my stomach after I devour it. Because I do love it.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. Stadium Guy James, I've never put ranch on steak. I honestly will try it later this week. I'm warning you right now, it'll change your life.
So in the conversation of best meats that go with ranch, I think steak's probably one.
No, pork has to be there.
Bro, you think pork is number one?
Oh, dude, pork.
Okay, what about turkey? Because I love like ground turkey. You know, ground turkey salad with some
ground
ranch on it
turkey's
is
different.
So good, dude.
That's okay, but see,
you know,
you say things, and
how is that hurtful, dude? How is that?
I
hurtful?
want to cave in your sternum when you say things like, "Wow, I put ground turkey on a salad and put some ranch on it." That's why I like having ranch on my turkey. Okay,
We did what we did.
I'm gonna choke that chicken, get the ranch for the turkey, which is fine until you go with, well, then, bro, I'm going to throw that onto a salad, which is a complete lie because you never eat salad.
What?
You fat. Anyway,
what?
He never eats salad.
What?
Never, ever. Anyway,
Listen,
the point
I'll
is,
have a
and then you're like,
wedge.
oh, yeah, I'm going to get that ground turkey. I'm going to chop the chicken for the ranch. I'm going to put it on a salad. Yeah, I'm going to put it on a salad and I'm going to eat it. That's not the same thing as putting freaking ranch on Thanksgiving turkey. You neophyte.
You're not putting ranch on Thanksgiving turkey, bro.
Watch me.
You're putting gravy and mashed potatoes on the fork with your turkey.
I do think my wife would become violent if I asked her to get me the ranch on Thanksgiving. We're like sitting around the spread with the whole family. Hey, give me
hey, where's the Hidden Valley guy? Where's Hidden Valley?
Hey, over here, Ken's Steakhouse. Bring me the ranch. Holy cow. I think,
dude, we're dying.
I think my wife is a very patient person. Ranch on the Thanksgiving table would probably put an end to that.
Let's settle this right now.
But if you want to talk about salads, we're doing this calorie counting thing, and then we'll probably talk about sports. But we're doing this calorie counting thing. The week before we went to Chicago, I was in a real rush for time. I took a bag of romaine lettuce, threw it in a bowl, chopped up some tomatoes, put some avocado in there, put a bunch of ranch on there, put 6 ounces of chicken on it. That's the best salad I think I've had in some time.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good. Hold the F up. White gravy and ketchup is a no-go, but you'll put ranch or ketchup on steak? You goddamn right. Pretty bright there for a teacher educating our kids. That's right. That's right.
Bro, Jeremiah, what's the most outlandish thing you've had for lunch as a teacher, dude? Like when you don't bring your lunch, what is that?
Do you eat the cafeteria?
Yeah, do you eat the cafeteria lunch, dude, or what's the deal?
I'm a big, Chewy says, I'm a big mustard on veggies fan. Mustard on steamed broccoli, cauliflower. I'm a ranch guy on vegetables. You might have figured this out. I'm a ranch guy.
What?
Honey mustard. We can have a conversation about honey mustard because there's pretty much nothing.
And you went on a Thousand Island run as well.
Oh, I have gone on it, but it's got mayonnaise in it. It's kind of disgusting when you read the label. Don't read the label. Just enjoy it. Longhorn, I do have one. Thank you.
Stay hard.
Politics or WNBA, who wins? Neither.
Macaque.
And believe me, both came up in that discussion.
Yeah.
It was brutal. Mike Smith, love fresh tomatoes. During summer, I'll eat them like a side with most dinners. Dude, I love tomatoes. Love it. Certain people, and I think this is a reference to character, does not like tomatoes. You decide.
I don't like eating them just on their own.
You don't like tomatoes, period. No, you take them off.
No, I don't, dude. No, I don't. I had the tomato that comes on the Super Dog.
No, you.
Yes, I did. Dude, you're
fucking donkey.
You're out of your mind today, dude.
We're
you're
at
out of your
Superdog, Devon in
Dude.
Milwaukee and Chicago. We're at Superdog. We order Superdogs. They come with fried green tomatoes. What'd you do with that green tomato?
Yeah, I gave it to you because
Yeah.
you like that. I ate the red one though.
They don't give you red one. God.
You don't always have to be negative.
You are so lucky hell is not real.
I don't know what am I supposed to do with this, bro?
Big Blue Horses, dear hyenas, it's tax day. Get them in for the love of God. Just file a damn thing sincerely.
So yeah. So
Why
what's
bring
the
this
update?
up?
What's the update? Because this is a thing in the Monty household right now. How's the AI treating you?
Not well. So my wife, while we're in Chicago, I'm golfing, playing
Not well.
Cog Hill. Well, not bad. The first 2 holes were a disaster, but playing Cog Hill, my wife is texting me pictures of how long it's taking her to upload the 13 or the 31 pages required to verify that we're the ones who filed our own tax return.
What a joke, dude.
Thanks for that.
What a joke.
And so today my tax professional sends me an email saying, hey, did you know today's the filing deadline before you go to prison, Monty? You got to pay your predetermined pre-tax payment thing, because they want you to pay your taxes ahead of time. It's just always giving money to people. That's all I do. Hidden Valley steak sauce. Exactly right. The only pork I like is, no, I'm not going to read that.
Dude.
Wow. Big Daddy Magic. Salad is the decoration that goes around your steak and steak fries. Okay. Nothing wrong with Leon Perry's or steak sauce. If you like it, you like it. It's not good. Jay McClanahan, honey mustard on steak is the bomb.
No.
Let's go.
Come on, guy.
Let's go.
Be better.
Get some momentum behind
We're
it.
not eating tater tots here. Come on.
Turkey is terrible, dry ass meat. Not a huge fan. Hey, yo. I need the ranch dressing in a big glass of water rice. Look at how he spelled water rice.
Yeah.
Water rice.
Water rice.
Jeremiah. Damn, Jake got Monty fired up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So wait, Jeremiah, have you ever eaten at the cafeteria at your school? Have you ever eaten the food that they serve?
Eric Wasikowski. Well, Monty putting ketchup on steak explains a lot. I love it. And I ain't going to apologize for it. No, I'm not the kind of like hedonist that puts ketchup on eggs.
Yeah.
Like, I think ketchup on eggs is...
Hot sauce on eggs is different.
No, that's disgusting too.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Butter. Whole butter made from whole milk that's contaminated with the Ebola virus. That's what goes on
The
eggs.
coronavirus.
Go ahead and try meat in.
Go ahead and try meat in. Oh, wait, I got a better story. I kind of forgot about this one because it's awkward. I had a student stand up, stretch, and then say, why do women have period cramps? Free women. Okay. Kim Coulter hates tomatoes. Okay. I believe there is lines being drawn here. Line in the sand or the garden. Old school lunches with chili PB sandwiches.
Yes.
And good old government cheddar. Remember the, dude, my mom doesn't do much right. Like, she is not. Anyway, when I was growing up, I often had powdered milk. I'd rather have the whole milk with the HIV in it or whatever. What is it? The bird flu?
Yeah, the bird flu.
Give me the whole milk instead of powdered milk. That stuff is for prisoners.
Yeah, that's disgusting, dude.
She used to sit on my chest and force me to eat farina. And then I'd come home and we'd have liver and onions. But on that one day that she wasn't feeling like a complete tyrant, she'd make a good PB&J and put it in a Ziploc bag in my lunch. On that one day that she wasn't absolutely insane, I'd come home and she would have made frozen lasagna from Stouffer's.
Well, no, it was her lasagna recipe.
Right. Yeah. My mom used to tell people that she made homemade lasagna. It was Stouffer's out of the freezer. You know, the things we do. Mike Smith, fried green tomatoes, take my effing money. Dude, they're so good. They're so good. Superdog in Chicago. Registered on veggies, so I do eat the cafeteria food because they can just charge me for it and take it out of my check. The nastiest thing I've ever had was probably their attempt at Mexican food. Oh.
What about a Hot Pocket?
Oh, hot. Do you guys remember Pizza Puffs?
Yes.
Oh, my God, dude.
Stay hard.
It moved a little bit. When I think of Pizza Puffs and
you
mayonnaise.
You want to talk about ranch.
You want to talk about cholesterol. When I was a kid at good old Round Lake High School, Pizza Puffs and mayonnaise, that was where we were living. That was, god damn, that was good. Parmesan crusted fried green tomatoes. Can't say I've had them, but they sound good. Noel Ramirez, what's the best wine to pair with some A1 steak sauce?
I'm not a wino.
None. I think my wife is more of a Reds fan, a mixed Reds. Like, she'd do that. I used to have a buddy that put ketchup on his French toast.
Oh, get the hell out of here. What are we doing?
When you have hot French toast with a little buttery syrup, oh my God. If you you pour that high fructose corn syrup all over that French toast, dude, just get on the Ozempic after that because you're going to die. But I'm telling you, you know how in like Call of Duty or whatever the war thing is where you jump out of the sky in a
Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone. Same thing. You jump out of the you know when you die, like I do a lot on Call of Duty, and you stick yourself with a pen. That's essentially what's happening when you drink high fructose corn syrup on your pancakes or French toast. You got to hit the Ozempic.
Damn, it's good.
It's so good. Talk to text kind of screwed up the beginning of my last comment. Okay. But I respect the game though. Hot sauce on eggs and hash browns. No, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
Yes. What's your favorite kind of hot sauce?
Why? Stop it. Maury Alvarez, I don't eat school lunch. If I forget my lunch, I go hungry. Smart guy. I hate ketchup. I had a throat infection as a little kid, and everything tasted like ketchup for some reason. I never liked it after that. We all make choices, and you got to do what you got to do.
Throat infections do happen to the best of us, dude. You know?
Okay, I was just about to go to
just so you can go to Pound Town.
Look, you got to listen, my guy, Noel. I understand you got to pay your rent.
People are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
What you do at the silos with them other bros, that's up to you. Okay. I'm a terrible.
Bro, I can't, dude.
I'm a terrible person. Dude, no lie, my brother used to eat his pancakes with ketchup. That is disgusting.
Stop.
DK said, I made the ice cream French toast last night. It was delicious. I miss it. Jake says, what we doing like that again, LOL.
What are we doing? What the hell are we doing?
Mayonnaise is definitely not a vegetarian I was using. Talk to text, and it caught that conversation that Monty and Jake were having. Look, if you're hitting that vegetarian, dude, look, I'm telling you that I hope it's organic too.
I think I've hit it every time.
You should probably ask her. Again, I'm a terrible person.
You got to get stroked.
I've heard that as long as it's hot, there's always going to be sauce.
Right.
No. Big Blue Horses, ketchup on French toast, sure sign of mental processing deficiencies.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing
what
with
I'm
that,
saying.
dude. That's disgusting.
The final one on this, ketchup on eggs and weenies. Classic poverty meal.
Weenies? What the hell is a weenie? Oh, well, Monty, it's a glizzy, you know?
Hey, he's a Dodger fan.
I'm still a human.
No, Chewy, you're not. You're not. You know, not after what the Cubs did. Okay. Mike Smith, not a cake person, but recently had an ice cream cake. Okay. What's your go-to dessert? I would probably say we've had some good apple desserts lately. I'm like, okay, again, if I'm going to Roots, I don't think my wife will let me get it ever again because we've had some issues getting it cooked correctly. The apple pot thing where they give you a pot of apple pie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it is fantastic.
Outstanding.
It is really good.
Second only to Mastro's butter cake.
Yeah. Gabriel said, dude, strawberry shortcake is the bomb. I don't disagree. Dan Welch, ketchup with hash brown and eggs. I can't do ketchup and eggs. It weirds me out. It's like the poor little chicken is bleeding to death. Nothing? Okay. Ooh, bear claws are good. Bear claw. Oh, God. Fat Jesus is here. I just like a nice piece of fruit for dessert. I can't help spoiling myself with a ripe strawberry. Funny enough.
Yeah. Nah, I'm here for that.
On the calorie counter, Mrs. Monty gave me like I believe she backed up a semi-truck to my front door and
just
poured
back up
strawberries into it. We must have had 10 ounces of strawberries last night. Probably more than that. 66 calories. You can have a ton of strawberries for very few calories. Pigs in a blanket. I'm here for it. I love sausage. I do.
Stay home.
And I am. We had Rosati's Pizza in Chicago. Rosati's Pizza with extra sausage.
Macaque.
Creme de la creme, baby. You know. Has to be key lime pie. I'm the only one in my house that likes key lime pie.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm the only one. New York cheesecake. Okay.
Yeah.
Get those blueberries for low calories. I eat them in my oats every single morning.
Yeah.
Every single morning on the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Should the Phoenix Suns trade Devin Booker? I'll tell you why it's not optional after this from the Advocates.
You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the Advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
Yes, you do. The Advocates at theadvocates.com, 24/7, 365. And it won't cost you a dime. You can chat with one of the best injury attorneys in the business, no matter where you watch the program. Get to theadvocates.com. Clear, risk-free advice. When you've been in an accident, when you've been hurt in a trip and fall, when you got hit on your bicycle, your motorcycle season's here. Bicycle riding season's here. If you get hit while you're on your bike, call the Advocates at theadvocates.com, where you never pay out of pocket. You don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Hand them the claims process. Let them do the fighting. You do the healing. And then they hand you a check. It's a beautiful thing. The Advocates at theadvocates.com. My favorite is buttermilk pie.
Okay.
What is buttermilk pie? Okay. Fat Jesus. Should the Phoenix Suns? Yes. Whatever the proposal is, the answer is yes.
Dude.
There's a lot of frustration in Phoenix Suns country. And I thought it was interesting. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. And everybody kind of lost their minds over it. I think you know by now, I am a diehard Devin Booker fan. I love watching the guy. I think in a league where we watch individuals instead of teams nowadays, Devin Booker's the individual I enjoy watching play hoop. But how do you argue he's not a coach killer? He's gotten multiple coaches fired during his tenure. It seems like there's been a coach fired every year with Devin Booker. Is that his fault? It's probably not directly his fault. But here's the truth. At some point, you've got to look at somebody else other than the coach. And what's the only consistent in Phoenix Suns country? Devin Booker. It's not a fit. It doesn't work. I don't know. Call it what you want. He is a supremely talented basketball player who deserves to be the second best player on a championship team. The Suns can't build that. Jake, they've got to trade Devin Booker.
Yeah, and I think it's really difficult because Book's been there for so long. Obviously, drafted by the Suns, is a huge name in that town. Absolutely a brand in Phoenix. Devin Booker's built a thing in Phoenix. And I think that, the most difficult part is being, trying to measure how long should I be loyal to a player before it's time to move on. And I think, we as people struggle with that concept all the time, right? How long should I be loyal to this or that, before making a change or whatever it might be, given the situation. And I think the Suns are mulling that over. I think the hard part is that Devin Booker is a Kobe guy and clearly would want to play for the Lakers. We've known that. He's said that. That's not a secret. But the problem is I don't think the Phoenix Suns would ever trade him to the Lakers. I think he's going to have to get traded to the East and then traded back to the West if he wants to get to the Lakers. So fortunately for Devin Booker, I can appreciate that you want to be a one-team guy, but ultimately winning is what matters. And for multiple reasons, these two, in my opinion, need to separate. For the Suns, yes, Devin Booker's been the consistent thing, but Devin Booker also can't be the anchor on your team that wins a championship. He's going to be that secondary player, that Robin to your Batman that puts you over the top. And unfortunately, the Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, experiment wasn't allowed to grow and thrive because they made mistakes in building the rest of that roster. And so the point just is that at some point, Phoenix has to move on from Devin Booker. I don't know where you move him to. I would guess you'd move him to the East, like I said. And if he winds up back in the West, more power to him. But I just have a real hard time believing that one of the biggest rivals of the Lakers is going to trade one of the best players their franchise has ever had to
probably the best player they've ever had.
Yeah.
I think if they were to trade him, they're not going to. Reports today said they're going to sign him to a unnecessary, which tells you all you need to know about the Suns. There's no reason to extend him now. They're going to offer him a 2-year, $156 million deal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's obscene money to pay Devin Booker. And I think when you're looking at the kind of money that he's talking about, you're telling me that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
The Bradley Beal trade, huge mistake. The Kevin Durant acquisition, not a mistake. But what you should have done is not gotten Bradley Beal and upgraded the role players. But that would require basketball IQ. And this organization with this particular owner doesn't seem to have that. And that's the biggest problem that I see when you look at it's the only thing you can come to when you look at the decisions they've made. They've had all the talent. They've traded it all away. And it's gotten them not further, but farther behind.
Mm-hmm.
They're far, far worse off than they were with Cam Johnson and Bridges.
Yeah.
Far, far off. And I just think if you're Devin Booker, how long do you wait? And I understand Book's got this obsession with wanting to be a one-team guy. Totally understand that. The only difference is Steph Curry's won multiple rings now with one team. You've won none. It's hard to ignore anymore. Have the Suns really been close to an NBA championship? Sure, they went to the finals. They got torched. Was that Devin Booker's fault? Probably not. But was he the reason that they won it? No, he wasn't.
Certainly not.
To me, I understand he's still young. You need a community linchpin, which Devin Booker is. You should trade him. because you still aren't guaranteed you're going to get out from under Brad Beal's deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bartlestein connection is hard to overlook, right? I mean,
yeah,
Bartlestein, the president, Bartlestein, the agent for Brad Beal, like father-son doing business on one of their players. Like, come on. It feels so corrupt. It just is. I don't know how you fix this. You're about to trade Kevin Durant. Are you going to keep Bradley Beal? Like, how do you is there a justification to keep Bradley Beal on that roster?
No, I mean, I think keeping him on the roster would just simply be that nobody else wants him. You just wouldn't be able to move him, and you're not going to just cut him. You're not just going to buy him out. I wouldn't think that's a lot of money. So, the hard part is the question of, hey, how do you get out of this is purely how much pain do you want to endure to get out of this? Because ultimately, again, and I said this yesterday, you're paying Mike Budenholzer. And again, this doesn't go against your cap or whatever, but you're still paying the guy, 10 mil a year for the next 4 years. You're obviously going to pay Brad Beal. You're, by all reports, like you were just saying, you're talking about extending Devin Booker already. You're going to do this deal with Kevin Durant. And that's the deal that I think will determine how much pain you have to go through to be good again. Because I guarantee you what Phoenix is going to try and do is say, hey, well, look at the Kevin Durant Brooklyn deal. We're going to work off of that. And I think the problem is the league's going to come back and say, yeah, well, that was 3 seasons ago or whatever, 2 seasons ago. KD's a different player with more miles on the tires now. Like, you're not going to get as much value.
You owe Bradley Beal $111 million over the next 2 seasons. If you can't, he's not going to be on this roster next year. You can just write that down. Bradley Beal will not be a Phoenix Sun. They will either buy him out or they will trade him. And when they trade him, they will probably have to send a significant amount of cash behind him. But
that's the bed you made.
It's $111 million, man.
Yeah, well, and I think the shame of it is, and this is why I think it's rich that we hate on like teams like the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Knicks. These teams that spend a lot of money to build these rosters. We hate on those teams, but then we have a team in Phoenix that spent a ton of money and didn't know what they were doing with that. They went out and made splash acquisitions. The guys talked a bunch of junk. We all remember the infamous interviews with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker talking about, like, I don't know how they're going to guard all of us and everything like that. And then ultimately it just didn't work out in the real world on the court. And
at all.
So it's one thing to have the money, but to spend it strategically to build an NBA championship is another thing. And you look across the league and there's all these different situations, whether it's Utah, LA, you have money, but do you know how to use that money to build a championship? And most people don't.
Shams is reporting that the Suns have offered Devin Booker 2 years and $149.8 million. How do you explain that? I mean, you are kidding yourself if you're paying him that kind of money. Did you learn nothing?
74.5 a year. If that would be the number.
That's obscene.
Yeah, I just don't know what you're doing. Like, what is
no clue.
Why would you do that to yourself? And this is my point. Like you're talking about a guy who is a billionaire from the mortgage industry. Just, I guess this is his fun money, apparently. I guess. Like, is that what this is? You know what I mean? Like, I was really excited when Ishbia bought the Suns. That he acquired the Suns from bad ownership who had a toxic work environment, and it was really not a great situation.
And he paid those 3 players $150 million to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you understand that they're a $400 million roster? They paid those 3 guys $150 million combined this year.
Yeah, man.
To miss the playoffs. I don't even know how you recover from that. I don't know how you recover from that. You're 4 years past the finals now. So that ship has sailed. Like, you look at where this team is, And if you're the Phoenix Suns and you keep Devin Booker, you are lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. He's not a $74 million player.
No.
And the moment you sign him to that, you are stuck trying to find somebody better than him. Because I love Book. He's my guy. He's not a number one. He's not a 1A. He is a 2. He is a number 2 on a roster. And a damn good one. Arguably the best mid-range player in the NBA when he's right.
Yeah.
But he's not a number 1. And the shame is neither is Kevin Durant. And I think that's probably where the biggest misfire was. You thought Kevin Durant could still be a number 1. He's not that guy. He is not that guy. And already, allegedly, Kevin Durant, I heard, was going to work out with David Alexander this summer to try and get his body right. David Alexander's a body guru. Kevin Durant apparently is going to work very closely with David Alexander this summer.
Yeah,
I get it. Are you really telling me? I don't know what you do with it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's a really difficult situation. I think that the Suns need someone to come in there and be kind of a basketball savant with the roster. Understand, all right. It truly is one of those things where it's hey, we got to get out of this situation and turn around as fast as we can. So how do you do that? You jettison Kevin Durant, trade Devin Booker, try to get out of the Bradley Beal contract as best you can.
Yeah.
And open doors for yourself. And then if you can do that, then now you can start rebuilding the roster. And you can do it in a more logical fashion.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think excuse me. I think you're in a world of hurt. And I think you've tried to buy these players repeatedly. And it's just never worked. You've always tried. You've always picked the wrong pony. Whether it was Amari Stoudemire, whether it was Chris Paul, whether it was Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, you've picked the wrong guy, right? You've constantly, repeatedly picked the wrong guy. And I don't know how you fix it, man. Yeah, Chewy, I agree. The big misfire was CP3. Not that guy, pal. Water's wet and Chris Paul's hurt in the playoffs, right? And this isn't the only bad situation. You look at this situation with Nico and the Dallas Mavericks, and see, I still maintain I'm on Nico's side here. I think the Dallas Mavericks did the right thing trading Luka Doncic. I think they did the right thing. Yes, has he led the NBA in jersey sales since he got to the Lakers? Yes. Would he have led the NBA in jersey sales in Dallas? No. Would he have played better defense as he has and still been terrible, by the way? Would Luka Doncic, I live on the second floor, would he have played better defense? No, he wouldn't have. He would have been comfortable in Dallas. They did the right thing. They're doing what the Suns can't seem to avoid, which is overpaying a star who can't take you to a championship.
Yeah.
And Nico saying there's no regrets on the trade. Part of my job is to do the best thing for the Mavericks, not only today, but in the future. And the same decisions I'm going to make are going to be unpopular. That's my job, and I have to stand by it. Goddamn right. Live, die, fired or not, you did what you thought was right. And I actually think he made the right decision to move on in a reasonable fashion from Luka Doncic, because he would never have been the guy he is in LA now. And he ain't actually been that great for the Lakers. He's a terrible defender.
Yeah. Well, we all knew that. Yeah. I mean, we all knew that. And I think that, the best part of what Nico Harrison said there was, it's going to be unpopular. And, I think that we will never know if it actually was the right decision or not until we see what the Mavericks do post Luka. I mean, who wins a championship first, I think is a great benchmark for who won that trade, because ultimately the Lakers clearly are in the driver's seat to win a championship first. But if you do not, with Bron and Luka and that really nice core of players you have, and you fail to win a championship, and then Dallas can bounce back in a year or two and win a championship, then it's hard to say.
Max Christie's actually been a nice little player.
Yeah. And the crazy part is, and I do agree with people saying, you basically did a straight up deal, Luka for AD, but how did you not have Austin Reeves in that deal? I mean, I those are questions that he's going to have to answer to if they're not able to get back to the NBA finals. Like that's those are real world scenarios. And the Lakers, much like the Suns, the Lakers are in this place where, Rob's done a great job, and done things that I don't think people foresaw or understood that those were options. And he's got them right in the playoff mix, obviously. And it'll be interesting to see if they beat if they can beat who they have, the Wolves, I think it is, in their matchup. If you can beat the Wolves and get to the next round, great. But if you don't and you're out in the first round,
well, and if the great fertilizer Anthony Edwards goes off on you and torches Luka, because good luck with that matchup, you're going to have to move guys around.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. I love that. And then you want to talk about fat people? We can do that on this show. There's a report that Zion Williamson is done with the Pelicans. That the New Orleans Pelicans, who are hiring Joe Dumars to be their basketball boss, and they are ordering Joe Dumars as his first act to trade Zion Williamson. Jake, you like it or hate it?
I like it a lot. I think it's time. I think the Pelicans are an organization that's, sitting there burning cash and, for what? I mean, Zion Williamson is the very definition of a bust. Zion Williamson, with all due respect to him, he was something that we've never seen on a basketball floor in college. I mean, I truly don't believe we've seen someone dominate in the way that he did at Duke. We hadn't really seen that before. So coming to the league, the question was always going to be, is that going to translate? Is that going to pan out? And will he be that kind of player at this level? And he just hasn't been. And, whether it's the body stuff, the porn star stuff, just not being the professional that you need to be to live up to being drafted where you were drafted. Yeah, I do like this. I think that Dumars is a good hire. I think that the guy obviously knows basketball. Clearly, you're not gonna get shade for hiring him. But the reality of the situation is much like the Luka deal. Everything with the Zion situation it hinges on what do you do after that deal. Okay, great. You get rid of Zion Williamson. Who do you get back for him? Number one, and then number two, on the heels of that deal, what do you add to your roster? Because if you trade Zion and you don't do much and you're just a bottom feeder who's in the lottery every year, people are going to say, well, you might as well just kept Zion and we would have enjoyed 30 games a year with Zion. That's more entertaining than being in the lottery. So I like it. I think they should move on. I think we've been talking too long about trading Zion. Just get it done. We all know you want to do it, but you for sure better have a plan after that. And the Pelicans have been this team that kind of flirts with the playoffs and has been in 1 year and then you're not in for a couple of years. Like, so you are. And I think that they have the opportunity to be a lot better. But I'm just telling you, when you're moving on from a guy like Griff, who is a long time front office man, a veteran in this game, has won championships, you better get it right, or else you're going to be in the same spot you were, if not worse.
I think I almost said Luka. I think Zion Williamson is arguably the biggest bust in the history of the NBA based on the hype that was around him coming out of Duke.
Yeah.
And really coming out of high school.
Because don't forget what people said about him, right? And go back on YouTube and find the videos. People said he was the next LeBron James. That's what they said. They said this guy is the second coming of Bron, that he would dominate at that level, that he was, just going to own people. And that hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting to see if they can move on from him. But yeah, I think he is an absolute bust.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
He is. Zion's one of the biggest busts ever. Chewy, is Zion on the pen yet? Looks pretty good. Wasikowskinator says Zion to Motown. He's going to be available. He is going to be available. Chewy, Zion to the Jazz would be hilarious and not surprising. Well, I don't think that's happening based on his porn star fertilizing.
Fertilizing.
So, I'm trying to find gentle ways to... Chewy, if Lakers don't win a championship, there will be bad riots, no celebration. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. Is there a Bambino curse on the Suns? Who did they piss off? And are they still alive to right the wrong? Well, it's probably Bobby Sarver, the former. You guys remember the degenerate dirtbag Bobby Sarver? Put goats in the GM's office allegedly and stuff and didn't treat people well. And you guys remember that whole thing when they sold the team and he was forced to sell the team. And maybe that's what it is. You got mortgage guys sweeping in here, Matt Ishbia, sweeping in to save the day, and we're going to win. And Bobby Sarver's dead. Ding dong, the Sarver's dead. Like the rejoicement. I didn't misspeak. The rejoicement that went on in Phoenix when Bobby Sarver was out.
Yeah.
Second to none. People were so stoked and so fired up that Bobby Sarver wasn't that guy. And now what? Well, you're worse off than you were with Bobby Sarver as far as on the floor results go at certain times.
Yeah.
But you at least have a guy who's trying to win, right? Like your owner in Phoenix is trying to win.
Yes, he is.
Not well, but he's trying to win.
Yeah. Which is worth something.
Yeah, I think it is worth something. All right, let's get to a couple things. Jake, I am very angry with you. You convinced me again on PrizePicks. And I've already lost PrizePicks tonight because of you.
How did you already lose, dude?
Because Justin Verlander and Luzardo didn't give up a run in the first inning. Which I told you we should take none, and I took more. Well, now, I also need Charlie Morton.
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton's given up a run. I need him to give up 2 more. And it's 1-0 Guardians over the Orioles. That game's only in the bottom of the third.
Yeah.
So Charlie Morton's got time to melt down for me.
Charlie Morton.
Got time to melt down for me.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got Shohei the Gambler for 1.5 total bases. I took more. Okay. Can we talk about this China goods thing?
This is fascinating, dude.
All right. So you guys know we have a tariff issue in this country currently happening.
Whoa, what?
So I am a big fan of Jordans and luxury bags.
Cashless.
So what the Chinese folks are doing right now in the factories where they make, because most Vuitton stuff, most Nike stuff, Adidas stuff, all that stuff is made in China around the country.
Yeah.
Shipped to the United States, that's now facing massive tariffs. So how are the Chinese factories going to make their money? Well, they're going to sell direct to Americans for much cheaper prices. And you can go find it on TikTok, and it's not hard to find that they are selling direct to consumer. Skipping Nike, skipping Vuitton. So now we're in a position where I had to do some research. So I may have now, and I would never, I may have in a different time of my life, like this afternoon, a couple hours ago, gotten on the WhatsApp and started messaging some of the factories.
Okay, quick sidebar. You were never a WhatsApp guy. Like, that's not.
No, but now it's been so remarkably improved.
But now you're all about WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's end-to-end encrypted now, and I don't enjoy it. It's a great way to communicate with people in a confidential manner. It's end-to-end encrypted. It's secure. So I did a bunch of research on this because I'd been seeing trends and stuff about people buying from the factories direct.
Right.
And not for $5,000. Like there is a Vuitton backpack. And let me see. I am sorry. Excuse me. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is right here. This backpack that I'm going to show you. This backpack is absolutely the best example that I can come up with. Because this backpack is not cheap. So it is a Louis Vuitton authentic backpack. Okay, I'm waiting for it. Here it is right here. What do you think this retails for in this country right now? If you had to guess, Jake, what do you think it retails for?
I've only ever looked at Louis Vuitton once or twice. We've been in the store. I've been in a Louis Vuitton store probably 3 times in my life. My ballpark guess would probably be somewhere between like $2,000 to $3,000.
How about $5,050?
Okay.
Significantly higher than it used to be, because you're right, it used to be $3,200.
Okay, why is it? Oh, because of the tariffs. The tariffs. Okay. Yeah.
The cost of production.
Yeah, the tariffs and the cost of production.
The cost of production and tariffs has raised the price to $5,050. Okay. I can get the exact same bag direct for $358.
Seems like a pretty precise number.
On WhatsApp.
Okay, so walk me through the research. Because Mrs. Monty,
excuse me,
Mrs. Monty is firmly in the this is a scam camp.
She's firmly in a no position.
Yeah.
And so I looked up another bag for her. I actually gave her this website. And I said, okay, why don't you pick anything you want on this person's website?
Mm-hmm.
And you show it to me, and I'll ask them for a price. And I'll ask them, hey, is this bag authentic or is it a reproduction?
Right.
And so Mrs. Monty picked out a Burberry bag.
Okay.
And it is my wife doesn't carry purses. She just does. She's always hated them. She's not comfortable with them.
Right.
This Burberry bag, however, is a little different. She really likes it. It's what we call, I guess it would be called a clutch. This cough is killing me. She picked out this one. Okay. I like it. Right? I like it. On the Burberry site, it is $3,800 for this bag right here. This lady messaged me, it's $250 including shipping. And I said, is it authentic or a replica? It is authentic. It is not passed the quality assessment at Burberry because it's not going through that process anymore. So I don't know. I'm probably hesitant to do it.
So what this really comes down to, from what it sounds like, is are you willing to risk $250 whatever dollars?
Am I willing to risk $250?
Yeah.
To figure out if this bag's authentic or not? What do you think?
I mean, the thing that, because I'm not obviously in it the way you're in it. Like, I'm not talking to the lady. I haven't looked at all the stuff you've looked at. But, I mean, yeah, obviously, just in traditional terms, like if we take the tariffs out of it and take out all the context, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's easy to be like, oh, well, it's a scam. But when you think about, like, what's going on in the world, I understand it from their perspective. Hey, like, you know, we've got all this extra cost now. And, you know, we've got, and you were saying that like all the sneakerheads and like these guys have been buying
all the Jordan accounts. So there's a bunch of Jordan accounts, and I'm not going to call them out. There's a bunch of Air Jordan accounts. The one guy is a pretty big Jordan account guy. He's a shoe guy. He's the one who started this because he showed a video where he has a storage locker full of authentics that were released today. And I'm not going to say the shoe, whatever, you can go figure it out. A high in demand shoe that he's had for about 6 weeks that he's making $100 a pair on. And he's got an entire storage unit full of them.
And $100 a pair is elite profit in the shoe game.
It is huge profit. It's an interesting little conundrum.
So what do you think you'll do with it? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a $5,000 backpack guy. That backpack is $5,050.
Right.
What am I doing? I have a backpack. I don't need a $5,055 backpack. That's outrageous.
Yeah, this is not a need conversation.
I think it's an interesting comparison.
Why do you want to do it?
I'm fascinated to see if it's real or not. Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated to see if this is actually happening.
Well, if you wind up ordering it, then we're going to have to reveal it on the show.
Yes. It is.
Do you think, would you say that the odds are you would wind up ordering it, or like which way are you leaning which way?
I probably won't. There's another part of this that, and I hesitate to even say this out loud. I don't want to support China. I don't want to support another country's economy. Mm-hmm. Right? But it's really fascinating how the world is reacting to our current situation.
Well, I mean, it's the very definition of capitalism, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, is that not what this is?
I think it's 100% what it is.
Is it not, hey, market conditions are hurting us, so we're going to undercut that and find profit other ways? We're going to basically backdoor profit?
Yeah. But see, Chewy, it's not about JanSport. It's not Jordans is a great example. I don't wear any other premium tennis shoe but Jordans. I have their running shoes. I have their casual shoes. I have their basketball shoes. I don't wear any other. You're not going to see me in Adidas, really. You're not going to. I'd buy a pair of Jordans. They don't make them up to a 15 for resale. Okay, I get it. But I think it is very interesting to me that I would love a Vuitton backpack. I have trouble contributing to a communist state.
Right.
That's what I have trouble with. And we'll see.
I mean, I think, I don't disagree with that per se. I think the other part of it, though, is you have to understand who you're talking to here. And right? Like, I mean, you're talking to the people who are making this product.
Yes.
Like, you're not talking to like a government official or something.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so I think it's kind of strong to be like, hey, I'm supporting a communist state. Yeah, sure. Do they live in a communist country? Yeah, they do. That doesn't mean that their money goes directly to the communist government. Like, so it's that part I don't 100% agree with, but I think I agree that just doing it just to see if it's legitimate. Okay, I understand the premise of that. Like, that's cool. I think it's 50-50 at best. I think there's a 50% chance it's real and legit. And that's why you're seeing these guys do what they're doing. And it makes perfect sense to me. I could easily see it being
Is it a knockoff because it never went to Vuitton? Because that's what everybody recognizes. Why can you sell an Air Jordan direct to consumer for whatever, I can't remember what it is now, $10, $20, $30? Well, because it costs them $1 to make the shoe.
Yeah.
Right? And the only difference is it doesn't go to Nike. So it's the exact same product. It's just not sold through Nike. That to me hurts the American economy, which I don't love.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think this is what we've been dealing with. Nobody's recognized it for generations. Where do you think iPhones come from?
Yeah.
Hell, where do you think most clothing comes from? It
just comes from the store, right? They just make it in the back room.
Of course. But this is the president, selling hats that were made in China.
Yeah.
While excoriating China. Like, that's just the reality of it, right? this is what we do. And it's the Dave Chappelle monologue that he did. We don't make iPhones in America because I don't want to pay $9,000 for an iPhone. That's the truth of it.
Listen, there is a food chain.
Yes.
There is a food chain. And we have this nice little circle of life that happens for us as consumers, right? And right now, that circle of life is being impacted by government action.
It certainly is.
And so, for me as a person, part of me says, hey, well, if I was in their shoes, what would I do? Well, I'd probably be doing the same thing, right? Like, let's be real. Like, we'd probably be doing the same thing. We'd probably be trying to make thousands of dollars, profiting off of Louis Vuitton bags and Jordans and Burberry bags and whatever it might be, right? Like, we would all do the same thing. So I'm not going to sit here and crucify these people for doing that.
No.
And I think we like to do that as Americans and people who are one percenters in it from a global sense. Like, do you understand that, like, you're basically in the top 1% of the world? If I can't remember the exact stat or what it is today, but used to be like, if you made like more than like $50,000, and you had like basic necessities, you were like top like 1 to 2% in the world from a living perspective.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you are.
This is not a conversation about need.
No.
This is a food chain conversation from a consumer standpoint.
Certainly.
And what people don't want to admit and what people like to do is they like to say, oh, well, you guys are supporting a communist state and, these people suffer. Yeah, they do. Yes, they live in a communist state. But you know what the reality is? I can't change that. You can't change that. And it's the circle of life that has been built since before we were born.
Yeah.
So let's stop trying to pretend that we can change it. And I would also contend that if you were to buy that bag, let's say, to see if it's real or not, you have no idea if that money's going to the communist government or if that money's putting food in a kid's stomach or a family's stomach. Like, you have no idea. So let's stop pretending we know.
Yeah, and I think we have to stop with the notion that buy American. Well, you can't get an iPhone that's built American. You can't get a tennis shoe that's built American.
That's why we've shifted from buy American to support small local businesses in our economy.
Yes, that I agree with 100%.
Like, it's not there's too much. It's too convoluted now. There's not enough. Like, buy American used to be this thing that we sort of that kind of brought us together as a country when all of our car companies, just as an easy example, were building all their cars inside our borders. And that was, hey, well, Bob and Nancy have been working at the Ford plant for 25 years, and let's buy American and support their jobs. That's not how it is anymore, man.
I wish it was.
Me too.
I wish Detroit was.
Times.
I wish Detroit was still Motor City, but it's not. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting. Out of adversity and need comes opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting to watch. India is also doing this.
Yeah.
There are several other countries that are also doing this.
Let me put it to you this way. If you're in India, let's say, or you're in China or any type of country with that type of situation, when you're living as a human being at that level, are you not just being as resourceful as you can? Are you not saying like, hey, the president of a Western country is putting tariffs on our trade, and that's making it much more difficult for us to do what we do in the food chain? So let's go ahead and let's use this thing called an iPhone that we make to make money. I just don't think that we should be judging these people. I think that we should be saying, hey, like, I'm cool if you don't want to buy their stuff, but it just bothers me that we're like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, these are terrible people because they're circumventing the process. What is it that Buddy the TikToker who's in high school is doing then? Like, we as Americans do that. That's literally like the foundation of our country. I feel like is to make as much money as possible.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I always say on this show, dude, you cannot, in my opinion, You cannot shame the rich. You cannot shame people that innovate and outwork others and make more money because of it. E-commerce is exactly that. I'm a big believer in FBA and people that buy on Amazon, and I'm a big believer in that.
Drop shipping.
I'm a big believer in it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. It's hard to be successful. You got to fail a lot to succeed. And I think in the way the world is working, especially when you're trying to buy real estate, you have to be resourceful and you have to do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me. I used to I used to play basketball in Vans back in the day just to prove a point. Dude, I love Vans.
Yeah.
I love Vans. Johnny Gonzalez, how much harder would it be on 1% if they only sold to the rest of the 1%? Very difficult.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Noel says, been a Vans guy my whole life, and I love it. I don't have a problem with it. I really do. Eric says Nike uses slave labor, unfortunately, Monty. Okay, so find me. You can't. Nobody is immune from underpaid labor. I mean, I'm sitting in front of you with tens of thousands of dollars in Apple products sitting on this desk. Our entire existence is powered by Apple technology. Where do you think all that's made? I don't want them to make I don't want them to make iPhones in this country. I don't. I wish they could. And if they were $1,000 iPhone, I would still buy it if it was made in this country. The problem is that's not who we are as a society.
Nope.
It just isn't. So there's no utopic answer.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And finally, now I'm not a Burger King guy. Right. Other than you want to hand me a double cheeseburger from Burger King, I'm down. I have no idea what Burger King's doing here. And if you guys want to explain this nonsense to me, please feel free.
Why are we releasing pretzel bun Whoppers?
It's a Whopper, man.
But to your point, I don't actually even enjoy the Whopper more than I enjoy their basic double cheeseburger.
And what the hell is a chicken fry?
Yeah, what is so? Did we take a chicken breast and julienne it and fry it? Is that what we did here?
I've never understood this about fast food restaurants.
So let me get this right. You're doing a pretzel bun, and then you're doing chicken fries with nacho cheese. Like, who are you, Taco Bell? You know what I mean? Like, it's just I saw this and I was like, how does this excite someone? What's the point?
I don't get it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's the same reason I don't eat the nacho fries or whatever they're called at Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Be who you are, BK.
Yeah.
Your BK fish is amazing. Make really good onion rings. Don't bring me why do I need a pretzel bun Whopper? It's a Whopper, dude.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah, and they're really good until you mess them up. And again, and the funny thing is they've chosen, I can't remember which city it is, but it's in Ohio where this is going to be an exclusive release.
Come on, man.
I don't know, man. Burger King is definitely lower on my list. I don't find myself at Burger King very often. And I just, this is not something that's going to like excite me to come into Burger King to get it. I'm like, and that's what I always look at with these food releases is like, you're doing this to build hype, to bring in business. What is the point?
Yeah, I think it is. To
be honest with you, it just doesn't look very good.
Why do we need, why? And I'll put them back on the screen because somebody needs to help me with this. I've never had nacho chicken fries. This is from tastingtable.com. The new nacho chicken fries, if you thought they would take the form of a classic chicken fry covered in nacho cheese like I did, you would be wrong. The chain coats it in its standard white meat fries in tortilla chip breading to create the new specialty, which is then served with a side of nacho cheese sauce. They join another current chicken fry rendition on the menu, the fiery chicken fries, also the spicy chicken fries, the jalapeno chicken fries, and the chicken and waffle fries.
We get it. We get it.
As for the Whopper pretzel thing, the meal of a sandwich comes with the same quarter-pound, 100% flame-grilled beef patty you find in all Whoppers, topped with creamy nacho cheese sauce, bacon American cheese, pickles, crispy onions on a pretzel bun.
Nah, it doesn't even sound that good to me.
Yeah, I don't think so. The nacho version of the chicken fries is a box of 4, 8, or 12 from $2.49, $4.19, or $5.99. It's 150 calories for 4 fries. Oh. The Whopper is also available $10.99, $11.99, or $12.99. The pretzel Whopper is priced at $7.49 for the sandwich alone. Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm
completely
so.
fine.
I think I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this one.
I'm completely fine.
I think I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that. Sorry, Monty.
It's in the suck size capital. Unfortunately, what does that mean? No idea what that means. Pretzel bun burger, chicken fries, like hearing Brian Kelly with a Southern accent. Family, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Columbus? It's in Columbus, Ohio. I see what you're saying. Chewy, it's like KFC Double Down chicken sandwich. Nobody asked for it.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, who wants this?
Big Daddy Magic. I eat Taco Bell cheese fries just today. I do not like Burger King. I will never eat there again. They are the John Cena fast food, and it pisses me off.
And his name is John Cena.
If I wanted pretzels, I would go to Valley Fair Mall. Exactly right.
Okay.
Oh, Charlie Morton's giving it up like it's prom night. Yes, sir. I need one. Come on, Gardos.
Monty.
Come on. I need one more run for Cleveland in off of Charlie Morton.
Charlie Morton.
You can't just say Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton. If I get one more run. Oh, no, I need 2 more runs. You effing jerks. Because it's a demon. I need him to give up a 2-run dong. That's what I need. That was almost out of the ballpark. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Yeah.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. Exactly right.
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly right. That's it. Show's over. The Monty Show presented by our good friends at The Advocates. TheAdvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.